Live. We got to wait for the stream to catch up. Any of you in the chat, throw in a hi. You can hear us. Say hello. Say anything. So we know that the peeps are in the chat. We got to wait for the stream to catch up. Any of you in the chat, throw in a hi. You can hear us. Say hello, say anything. Alrighty, it looks like we are live. Yes, I'm starting to see you now. Hi, April. Hi, I'm hungry. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Mark. And yeah, I guess we are good to go, and we're just waiting for MarkyMark to join us from Bermuda. So he might be suntanning a bit. I'm not really sure what's going on, but we will be hearing from him. He'll be jumping in the chat right away as soon as he gets out of his Bermuda shorts and decides to join us.
Mark is here.
Yes, he is in the chat. Okay, so anyway, thank you all for being here, and hello to all of you. Yes, Dusty, it's nice to see you back as well. Yeah, April, Jessica, Heart of Gold, hello to all of you. And are you excited for tonight's podcast? Oh, here's Amanda, Ruby's angel Amanda. Hi, Amanda. How are you, my dear? Yes, we got some good things going on for this evening. I can't wait for Mark to jump on and we can start getting together here for our little chit chat. Looking forward to that. We're going to be discussing mediumship tonight. So, good afternoon from New Zealand. Hey, good afternoon to you. Yes. Oh, good to know that you're okay. Oh, this is really awesome. Yes. We are waiting for our guest to join us here live on the show. But in the meantime, I'm saying hello. Thank you for all of you for joining us for this podcast tonight. It's the first official podcast of the Star Lordess podcast. This is something we are kicking off tonight. And as soon as my guest arrives here on camera, we'll be getting on with our conversation. But in the meantime, it's really nice to see. I see all of you here in the chat. Oh, April Dawn says, I've never seen you before. It notified me and I clicked on. Yeah. It's nice. Well, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the audience here. Should be a good night. And yeah, it's great. Blessings to all. Oh, this is really nice. Okay, Patty as well has just joined us. So yeah, we've got a few people popping in here, and hopefully Mark will be coming on shortly, and we'll be able to get this podcast underway. So, how is everyone doing tonight? How is CC has just joined? I'm joining. Can you see me? No, I cannot see you, Mark. You haven't come up on the screen, so I'm not really sure what's happening here. Did you go through the app that I sent you? Hi, Ruth. How are you doing, my dear? Hey, sweetheart. I don't know. Mark's supposed to be showing up here in the live stream, but he's claiming that he's in here, but I do not see him on screen yet. Yeah, so how did everyone's New Year's go? Well, we're waiting for Mark here.
This is waiting for host.
Well, I added you here, and I'm not really sure Let's see. Share. Add guest. Maybe I can just. Oh, nope. It's not coming through here. Hmm. Add guest. But it is not showing, Mark, that you're trying to add me into the live stream.
You may have clicked an old link.
Yeah, maybe you clicked the old link, Mark. Try clicking the new one that I just sent you before the broadcast went live. Yes, Dusty, I do have to accept it here, but it's not showing that he may have clicked an old link because there was two links. He may have clicked the first one. So we may have to close out this live and restart it with Mark if he can't get through here. I'm not sure. Check your email, Mark. I sent you the link through there. Oh, hey, Mike Hunt. Michael Hunt, you are here. New Year's was awesome, relaxing. This is wonderful. I hope that Mark can get on the live chat here because, or not the chat, but actually on screen. We tried it earlier today and it worked okay, but I'm not sure. This is waiting for host. Yes, well, I'm here, Marky. So I'm not sure. I'm going to try to see if I can add you. Copy link. I will. It worked earlier today. You know what? Mercury is no longer retrograde. This shouldn't be happening. We may have to. We may have to close out the chat and restart it because I'm not sure why we can't pick up Mark. Oh, wait a minute. Add. Okay, now. Oh, I hope this works. I really hope this works because, um, yeah, I think we're good. Oh, finally, Mark!
Yes.
Finally,
Okay, you got it.
I, okay. we're
Guess what?
we're
It
in
went
here
to my
now.
spam
Just
mail. Earlier, it went straight to my mail and it was fine. This time, it went on the spam mail, and I'm like, "What the heck?"
oh, it went into your
Yeah,
spam. Yeah, it shouldn't be.
yeah, and I'm like, "Well, that shouldn't happen because I got on here earlier. It was fine."
Well, yeah, exactly. So I didn't understand what was
Uh,
happening all of a sudden. I
wait.
thought maybe you were having trouble, changing out of your Bermuda shorts or something.
Oh yeah, I'm out of my shorts because it's
You're out
nighttime.
of your shorts. Okay, that's good.
No more sun tanning today.
No, no more pole dancing either. Hey,
No, no,
Mark.
no pole dancing too. It's Sunday today. I have to behave.
Oh, that's right too. Well, you know what, Mark? Welcome to the channel,
Thank you.
and really appreciate you coming on tonight. And
Yes,
and
absolutely.
let's just have a nice little chat here. We've
Sure.
got a few people already in the stream.
Hi,
Apparently,
everyone.
yeah, apparently there's a few people in here who know you. And
Yes.
just on a side note, if you see Michael Hunt in the chat, that's our
Mhm.
friend. Remember, I told you about Too Legit on Instagram.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so
Yes, my
that's that
buddy. How you
that
doing, bro?
that would be your buddy.
Yes, my buddy. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, it's good to see now we're actually on the same level.
Yeah,
We
we're on
get
the
to see
same
each
level.
other.
Yes. We're good to go now. See, it all worked out.
Exactly, it did. Okay, so I mean, tonight's topic is about mediumship, and
Hmm.
the reason why I needed to have you on. It wasn't a desire. I needed to have you on here because I have to tell you that I did a video about you and recommended you on my channel due to the fact that we had the most amazing spontaneous mediumship reading on your channel. And
Yeah.
this is, I have to tell the audience how this went. I had heard about, like, we have some common friends and so forth. I had
Mhm.
heard from other people over the past couple of years about, your mediumship gifts and so forth. And I was like, I have an open mind. So I, love stuff like this.
Right.
Here I was very open minded about it, and I was very happy to hear the reviews. So one afternoon, I just happened to decide to go on your live there. And I
Mhm.
just asked you a question about my brother. Remember that, Mark?
Yes, I remember that.
And you went into this incredible mode that all I could say in the chat was wow, 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 because
Yes.
I was at a loss for words. The type of things you came up with, I could not believe it. I was like, how is this guy doing this? This is
Yeah.
amazing. And now I understood what the other people had told me about your gifts and your ability.
Mhm.
Now I understood from a personal perspective what they were talking about. You went above and beyond for me in that reading, and partially because you had said
Yeah.
you were getting goosebumps, and you
Yeah.
really felt that energy strong.
It
And
was, yes.
things, the things you said to me, Mark, were so on point, and things that you could never have known.
Right.
I was
Yeah.
like, I saved that episode and I played it for other people who knew him, and they
Yeah.
were like, wow, this is
Yeah.
amazing. That's why I had to do that video, to tell my audience as well as have you on
Mhm.
tonight. I just now had to introduce you in that respect. But now we're gonna talk a little bit about where did you get this gift from? Like, that is an amazing gift. Have
Yeah.
you always had it even as a child, or?
Well, you know how people talk to their imaginary friends when they're young as a kid. So, like, I felt like I was talking always to somebody, or people were talking to me, and I was like, yeah, and sometimes I'd
Mhm,
catch myself, and I'm like, yeah, I better not act delusional. People are gonna think I'm crazy over here talking to people and stuff.
mhm,
But when I got my car license and I started to drive, that's when it was more like of a reality for me, because I would be driving and they would be talking to me while I drive. And I'm
wow.
like, I'm trying to drive here, like, who the heck is this talking to me all the time, and it's but yes, I realized I had it, but I didn't really acknowledge it as much as when I was young, because I didn't know what the heck I was doing or what it was about.
Right, right.
And I remember being like, I haven't told much people this story, but when I was 14, I was in Atlanta, Georgia, visiting a friend, and I
Mhm,
was with my brother and some other people, and we were gonna go watch a game, and we were in the world of Coca Cola, and the underground there, it's called, and there was a psychic lady there, and she had her crystal ball, like things you see on movies and stuff. And I
mhm,
walked up to her and I said, "How much is a reading?" And I was only 14 years old. I was like, let me want to see what my future holds. 14 years old, and I was like, let me see what's going on here. So I think I gave her like $10 or whatever. And I
right.
sat there, and she said to me, you also have a gift, and you're gonna be able to see and hear spirits, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, this is all bull, this can't be real, whatever.
Yeah.
So she was looking into her crystal ball, and she was telling me all these things that was gonna happen, and she pretty much was on point. And that was like my first reading I ever had in my life, was when I was 14 in Atlanta, with
Mm,
some random person I walked up to with a crystal ball.
yeah.
And she told me back then that I was going to you know that I was a medium, and I was gonna do psychic stuff like her, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I walked away there, and I was like, hell no, I'm not coming back to that woman. I don't want to hear none of these things. I don't care about that type of stuff. Um,
Mm,
and then after that, a few years later, when I was about 20 something, I went to Portugal to visit family, and another psychic medium guy, a healer type person that did herbs and things like that and healed people. He also told me the exact same thing. He sat me on a park bench, and he was like, "Look, you got to listen to me. You have a gift. You have to help people. There's not too
mhm,
many people that have that and will be genuine as you and do the things that you do." And I'm 21 years old. Like, I'm trying to live my life and stay on vacation. And I'm like, I'm in
mm,
Portugal. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to listen to this. Like, I just kept like, knocking it away and just leaving it alone. And just like, I knew I had it because I heard things and I felt things, and it was just
mm,
weird. sometimes like I'll get home and I would walk inside and I feel like somebody was like around me or watching me, or I'd always get goosebumps all the time, things like that. So anyway, I just practiced on people pretty much, and that's how where I am today. I just I would get a message, I would look at you or see you, like how you came in my room that day, and
Mhm.
you were like, "Mark, can you connect to my brother?" And I was like, it's like a light switch that comes on, and they're like, "Oh, thank God, finally," she's asking about me, yay, so they're on standby, they're just there.
They're just waiting.
And yeah, they're just waiting for their turn to speak.
Yeah.
And that's how it works for me. And I explain a lot that how it works for me is different. It's different for everyone. Every medium is different.
Mhm.
But sometimes I'll get like the smell of something. Sometimes I can't see the person. Sometimes I can.
Mhm.
Sometimes I can talk to them. Sometimes I can't. And if there's a language barrier, I don't give up. I
Mhm.
remember I did a reading for this woman in Holland, and she said her dad didn't speak English, so that's probably why I didn't get anything. And I'm like, okay, no problem. Listen, I'm gonna talk to Spirit and see if I can get a translator, or I'm gonna pull some cards and ask him to transfer it to the cards so I can speak to him. And then it worked. And I
Wow.
was like, this is crazy, how can this just happen? So I said to Spirit, look, tell this guy I'm going to use my cards to get, so he can explain to his daughter what he wants me to tell her. And that's
Yeah.
how I translated it through the cards that one time.
Wow.
And like, so it's always a way to,
Mm.
to find the message to give to the person, no matter if there's a language barrier, if there's a culture barrier, anything. I'll work around it to find some way to give you the message.
So it's
Um,
almost like you're a conduit for the people on the other side who need to
right.
give a message out to someone else. Yeah.
Yeah. And the main thing for me is, in the beginning, I doubted it. I was doubting what I was hearing. I'm like, this
Mhm.
can't be true. This person's telling me to tell this person this, and this, but I'm gonna offend this person. If I tell him this. So I'm like, well, you know what? They want me to tell him, I have to tell him. And what better person to get you to tell people, is me. Because I really don't. I don't have no filter sometimes, and I just let people know exactly what they need to know. If they're not doing the right thing, I'm gonna tell them,
Yeah. Mhm.
and then so forth. So it's been a journey the last 10 years, I would say,
Mhm.
that, and especially the last 4 years since I've been live
Mhm.
on YouTube. I've like, I mean, it doesn't matter when, how, where. It just happens, and sometimes it feels like spirits talking through me.
Right.
Like I go into this vibe where they just take over my body a bit. Not
Uh,
exactly take over your body, but take over your mouth, and like you're
yeah.
saying things that they would say.
Right. Right.
But like I'm hearing them and it's going through my ear, through my mouth into you, and then it's like, well, that's what they would say if they were alive. And then I'm like, well, okay, cool. Then this is the right person. But I stress to spirit all the time. I try to control what they do with
Mm.
me because I don't want to feel and see too many crazy things,
Yeah.
like how they died or anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
But because I remember when I first came live and did mediumship, um,
Mhm.
I dealt with a lot of suicidal people that had committed suicide, people that were murdered. And I saw how they died, and I told them, "Hey, look, I don't really want to see that because I'm gonna lose my concentration.
Right.
So
Yeah.
please don't give me too much graphic details. I don't like horror movies or anything like, but things like that. So
Mhm.
I had to like, explain to them how I need to work with them to give the message. And I remember our reading, if you remember clearly that day, it was cloudy. And I had said to everybody, I'm online because it's been raining and it's cloudy.
Right.
And all of a sudden, when I connected with your brother, the sun hit my face.
Yes, I remember that.
And
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is going on here? Like, and his energy was absolutely powerful. It was
Which is
like,
interesting
finally.
because in life, he was a very powerful energy
Yeah.
person. So when
Yep.
you were saying that, it just made perfect sense.
Right.
Even some of the silly little things that you were saying that
Yeah.
maybe thought, well,
Yeah,
I don't know why I'm saying this. It connected to me. Like I really, really got what you were saying.
right.
It's
And I
phenomenal.
remember like it just sent chills through my whole body, and I was
Yeah.
putting up my arm
Yeah,
like
it
this, and it
up
was
your arm.
all like the sun was showing all my hair standing up and the goosebumps, and we were like, everybody was like, "What the heck is going on in here?" You know.
Yeah.
So it happens like that sometimes,
Yeah.
where I wish I can have like the same type of reading with everyone, but people have to realize that eh, when I listen to these spirits that are passed away and they come to you, some of them might not be happy with what you're doing in your life.
Mhm.
So they're kind of upset with you, so they don't want to speak to you. Then some people tell you, well, Mark, I don't believe that. Well, then you've got to deal with someone else because that's what I believe and that's what they're telling me. So if they're telling me they're not happy with you, or they, ended off in a bad place before they passed away, or there's like a forgiveness barrier that has to be done, there's going to be a problem with me getting a message from them. They hold, that saying, I'm taking this secret to the grave, or I'm taking this
Mhm.
grudge to the grave. That is actually, that saying is true. So some people will be like, oh, because you're a spirit, it doesn't mean that everything's forgiven when you died, because some people will say, look, I want to connect with this person, but I don't think they're going to speak to me.
Mhm.
And then, there's other people who will forgive and, say, hey, look, this. And then a lot of the times it's emotional things. I have to really prepare for the whole, thing. But with you just showed up that day. I just happened to come on and didn't even prepare for anything. I
Yeah, it
wasn't
was
prepared for
just
that.
like it was a
Yeah.
moment, it was meant to
Yeah.
be, and I guess
Right.
his spirit was there like, "Come on," um,
Yeah.
it's
I,
something you
yeah.
need to do, and I don't know what compelled me to do it that day, like I
Yeah.
said, just on your
Yeah.
live, and all of a sudden it hit me, and well, because I have that intuitiveness as well,
Right.
um
Exactly.
so yeah, and it's funny because before my brother passed, when he was living with me, we had this conversation because he said, "You're the spiritual one in the family," and so forth. And so I said, "Well, whatever happens," because he did have cancer, he knew the
Mhm.
potentiality of him passing. That
Right.
if it happens or whatever, I'll be your connection. And he was my connection for the longest
Right.
time. But because it's been a lot of years since he passed, and so, he just
Mhm.
comes to me every once in a while, but that particular day, I think he
Mhm.
wanted to get that message
Yeah.
through. He knew
Yeah.
I the person to
Yeah.
be able to get it through to. So,
Right.
I thank you very much for that. That was an
Yeah,
amazing.
that was anytime. I actually enjoyed that reading because I enjoy the spirits that have power. Because they leave me with that the sense of, you're real, Mark. What just happened just now is no, it's not bullshit. It's real. It's like this
Yeah.
person just I didn't even know you had a brother.
Yeah,
So
I know, that's what I mean. You knew nothing
I didn't
about
know
what
nothing about it, right? So when it happened, and after the reading, I went back and looked at it and I was like, that's not even me talking, that's him, and it's like it
oh,
took
right?
over my whole body. He had so much power. He was like, hey, look, you need to shut up, and I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna tell Star everything I need to tell her. So that's how I
100%.
felt at one point. And people do tell me that, but I don't realize it.
And you know what? It's 100% the way his personality really was. So
Yeah.
it completely blew me away. It impressed
Mhm.
me like nobody's business. Like I'm not a medium myself, although from time to time when I'm
Mhm.
doing a reading or something like that, it has happened where someone from the other side
Right.
has popped in, but it's sort of more spontaneous. I can do
Mhm.
some kind of past life stuff when I'm doing psychometry where you have the person's jewelry or something in hand
Right.
and I
Yeah.
can pick up on the history of the
Mhm.
jewelry, but not like what you do. It's
Yeah.
pretty special. And I remember, do you remember that series on Netflix with Tyler Henry, I believe his name? He was a Hollywood medium. You
Medium guy.
know,
Yeah.
good
Hmm.
medium. He did that show Life After Death, and there
Right.
was
Yeah.
a series on it. And I remember Tony and I watched it, and we were just like, "Wow!" Like blown
Hmm.
away. Did you
Yeah.
ever watch that series?
I did watch some of it. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
did
I
watch it.
was
Yeah.
like, "Wow, how is this guy doing that? Like, this
Yeah.
is pretty amazing." And I've always had my mind open because I've been a very,
Mhm.
psychic and spiritual person my whole life as well, just like
Yeah.
you. but I
I
just have
think, yeah,
I'm a different medium for this kind of thing.
right.
I pick up things intuitively. I've
Hmm.
had a lot of precognitive dreams, and I pick up a lot during the card readings I do for people.
Yeah,
But what you can do, like with that special connection
mm,
you have to people on the other side is really
yeah.
impressive. And
It's it's overwhelming sometimes, and sometimes I kind of still like look back and say like, how the heck did this even happen? And the
yeah,
whole reason why it's happening is because I'm actually open to it, and
yeah,
I'm not scared of it. I never was scared. I've never been scared of like it's not physical.
yeah,
It's spiritual. So why should I be scared of it?
exactly.
So
That's how.
I was like, I'm not scared. I can handle it.
Mhm.
It's not like spirit's gonna come lift me up and throw me around or something.
Exactly.
So like
Like
I don't I
this.
know that's not gonna happen. So
Yeah,
and I also felt that these past 5 years I've had a lot of family members pass away, like aunties, uncles, cousins,
oh,
family.
yeah,
So the more that passed away, the stronger I got, if
okay,
that makes sense. So a friend of mine once told me that we have a spiritual army of past loved ones.
yeah,
So the more you have in spirit, the more power you're going to have in your physical realm,
yeah,
and as a psychic and as a medium or whatever you choose to do.
yeah,
So that's the thing, I feel like over the past 4 years I've gotten stronger, better, more confident, and more aware that everything you hear, Mark, is true. Everything you hear is real. Just say it. Just
yeah,
don't hesitate. Don't be afraid to offend the person if you have to, because they're gonna thank you at the end of the day.
right.
And it's because they need to tell you these things. If they're
Yeah,
not happy, I'm gonna tell you they're not happy. And you're like, and I've had people where they say, you know what, Mark, my mom or my dad or whoever is right. They're right. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. I needed to hear this today, because
okay.
I'm the only one who knows besides you, because I'm talking to the person that you know. So it makes people believers. I've turned people into believers, and
Yeah.
that's my main thing
Well,
is
I can certainly see why,
yeah.
because I mean,
Yeah.
how I had no other way to explain that experience. Like I said, I've watched other mediums before, and I was
Mhm.
like, wow, wow. But you don't know until you personally experience something like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
And I personally experienced that with you, and I was very impressed with
Yeah.
that. And I
Mhm.
don't know how else to explain it other than because
Yeah.
you knew nothing about the things that you talked about that day.
Right.
Like you said, you didn't even know I had a brother. So
Yeah.
this was an amazing experience for me, and I thank you for
Hmm.
that. And plus,
Hmm.
other people that I've sent you to have given me some good feedback
Yes.
that you've
I
done
appreciate that. Yeah.
for them as well. So
Um,
that's completely awesome, and I love the fact that you told your story. And like yourself, I also knew I was connected to the spiritual world when I was very
mhm.
young, and I
Yeah.
learned not to be afraid of it. I was in a lot of very strange, ghostly experiences throughout my childhood and even adulthood.
Right.
And I never feared it because I always felt that I was connected to spirit. And so
Right.
I didn't, other people were scared of, doors closing and
Hmm.
things happening. But it's like, for
Hmm.
me, I know it's a message from spirit. So I didn't
Right.
fear it. And the
Yeah.
less you fear it, the more open you are to it, the more they come to you.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Right. And another thing I tell a lot of tarot readers is, even if you're not a medium and you're not like what I do and how I am, um, the cards are meant for you to use to ask. If you ever want to connect with your brother, for instance, if
Right.
you really had like a burning question to ask him,
Yeah.
or you really wanted to talk to him, you can talk to him, like, and just say, hey, bro, this and that, whatever, and today's your birthday, happy birthday, or whatever, like that. You can say those things. He hears you. He knows.
Yeah.
And if you want to, you can use your cards. Like you can just sit there and you can say, hey, brother, I'm here. I need you to like, if you want to come through the cards and let me know something, or I have a question about so and so. Can
Mhm.
you please, let me know what's going on?
Well, that's a great
And
suggestion. That's a
yeah,
great
you can do that. You can grab your cards
Mhm.
and you can say, hey, look, I'm gonna shuffle these cards. And this is how I teach people how to open their mediumship gift if they want to, is you just have to address who you want. Just like how you came to my room, you said, "Hey, Mark, can you please connect to my brother?"
Right.
And I said, "Okay, fine." So I'm not going to use my cards. I'm just
Because
going to say, because I can do it now. I don't need the cards. But
Mhm.
you can actually take your cards and say, "Hey, bro, look, I want you to answer something for me. I trust you. I love you, and I want you to come through the cards for me and let me know." So
Ah,
as you pull the cards, you're going to be like, you can just pull three cards and just say, "Hey,
mhm.
okay, you're absolutely right. I have
Yeah.
the right person here." But you have to address them, you
Mhm.
have to talk to them, and then you use the cards to go through them to you.
Well,
That's
see,
how
it's
what
funny
I
because
think.
I never thought of using the cards before, but I have,
Hmm.
like, when my brother first passed away, I used to sit down and I would have a conversation with him, grab a cup of
Hmm.
coffee or whatever at the end of the night, and I just sit there and the chair across from me would be blank, but I would
Right.
imagine he was there and I would have a
Hmm.
conversation with him. And I felt him there super strong, very
Yeah.
heavy duty. But I guess as the years go by, you live your life,
Yeah.
and it's not that you ever forget about the person, but
No.
they're not, as you've learned to sort of rely upon yourself
Mhm.
and so forth.
Yeah.
So now, but I never thought of using the cards, but thanks for that tip, Mark,
Yeah,
'cause
you can.
that
Yeah.
goes
I've
forward in
taught
my
people how to do that. Yeah. That's a good
I
thing to do.
yeah,
Um,
I will definitely think about that next time, so
and
thanks for that.
also what you can do, Star, is, and everyone who is a reader, um, when you do readings for someone, or you have, like, you get an email, you have to do a reading for somebody, or you're doing a reading, or you're about to do a reading for someone.
Right.
My advice and suggestion to everyone is to address the people that you know, say, "Hey,
Okay.
look, I'm about to do a reading. Can you
Right.
please help me? I want to make sure I get the right connection. These people are
Mhm,
paying me. These people, you're not
mhm.
going to sit there and be like, I want to impress them. I want to become the best psychic in the world, because none of that shit's going to happen, right? Because
Right.
they don't want that. They just want you to have the understanding and acknowledgement. So imagine if you're passed away, you're a spirit,
Mhm.
and your daughter, your son, or your mom, your dad, whoever is a psychic, and you want them to get the answers and be what you were in life or whatever.
Right.
And it's just an example.
Mhm.
And you want them to acknowledge you. You don't ever want them to forget you. But if you acknowledge them, they're going to help you with your reading. They're going to help you get those answers. And the more people you have on your side, the more you address them, they're going to be like, "Look, Mark actually cares about us.
Yeah.
He's addressing us. We're
Yeah.
passed away, we're a spirit, but we're going to help him now be this successful medium, tarot reader, or whatever. We're going to make sure that when he does a reading, for if Star ever came in his room, we're gonna make sure we bring her brother along. We're gonna be like ringing his bell and say, "Hey, you know, she's
Right.
here now, so now you can, talk to her." So I feel like everyone in that realm, in the spirit realm, is talking to each other, and they're saying, "You
Mhm.
know what? We're gonna nudge her over to Mark, so because her brother really wants to speak to her through Mark."
That Yeah, that's what it felt like through
Right.
it's all divine timing and connection. I believe
Hmm.
we are all connected ultimately. So before I'm doing my readings, whether they be the general reads or the personal reads I
Hmm.
do for people, I always ask for help from above. I just feel like it's
Yeah.
the collective energy from above, the godlike spirit and so forth that works through me. And
Right.
on that note, I would like to address something that you and I, or all mediums, tarot readers, and so forth, have to deal with from time to time, where people come towards us and tell us that the work that we do is ungodly and
Hmm.
so forth, right?
Yes.
So you and I were speaking earlier today about the Cat Williams interview, and we were talking about how he basically said that we have to choose, right? Do you want to work
Hmm.
for God? Do you want to work for the devil? Pick a side. We choose a side at a certain point in life, and we stick with that.
Right.
So I want to say to you that I know, like, how I feel. I know how you feel about that. We both feel that our gifts come from God, and that we are
Absolutely.
working for the side of
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
So our gifts are God-given gifts. They are talents that
Mhm.
we were provided for by the Creator, by someone from above. So we choose to do good with it. But like we were saying earlier,
Mhm.
people can choose to do bad with it as well. There's a lot of people
Absolutely.
in the spiritual realm who are doing it for evil purposes, just like we
Right.
talked about Hollywood, how they pick a side, they choose a side.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the same thing for us in the spiritual world. Do you agree?
Right. I agree absolutely 100%.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and that's why a lot of fake readers survive because they're reading for fake people like themselves,
Yeah.
and they're just going to agree with the bad things,
Yeah.
like let me get revenge, let me do a spell, and
Yeah.
let me
Yeah.
try and get, all of that stuff is the devil's works.
Right.
You
It's
don't need
like
a spell, all you need is God, and all you need is spirit.
exactly, right? And we were
Yeah.
saying that earlier about even like how you're coming to spiritual people and saying, well, what you're doing is evil, but yet you think that what the church is doing is not evil, it's godly. But
Right.
look at even in the church realm, right? There are
Hmm.
people who have
Exactly.
exposed the church already, even
Right.
point of the Vatican and so forth, where we
Yeah.
see that evil can happen in any genre. It can happen any,
Absolutely. Hmm.
and it just comes down to the individual, whether they feel that they are working for God, through God, doing God's work. I know myself personally, I've helped a lot of people, a
Yeah.
lot with the work that I do, and I feel it
Absolutely.
in
Yeah.
my soul. And it's the same thing with you, right, Mark?
Right.
Where you
Yeah.
feel that you're helping people and you're doing it for good. You're not doing it for evil purposes. You're not trying to harm anybody. You're not
No.
trying to, make $1 million
Yeah.
off of it.
No.
You're just trying to do the work that you do that benefits
Yeah.
others.
Yeah. It brings me back to a movie that I saw when I was younger, Indiana Jones, when he was in that area where he said, the guy said to him, you have to drink out of one of these cups.
Mhm.
And if you drink out of the wrong cup, you're gonna die. So I
Oh,
remember that movie very, very. I always remember it, and
mhm.
Jesus, when the story about him, he was, um, he was poor and didn't have anything. So you had all these gold cups, and you had one cup made out of wood.
Mm.
So Indiana Jones had to think about it. He goes, well, Jesus was poor, so he didn't have all these fancy little cups that you see in the Catholic Church or in the church, right? That they drink wine out of, right? So he drank from the wooden cup
Mhm.
because the
Right.
carpentry back then, and they made things out of wood. They didn't have those gold cups and things like that, right?
Mhm.
So when
Right.
I remember things like that, I remember that I'm not doing this to be popular. I'm not doing this for fame. I don't
Mhm.
want to be a world renowned medium to be known all over the world. I don't want popularity. I don't need that.
Mhm.
Um, and I definitely don't care about money because when we all die, we can't take it with us.
True.
So
True.
I live and die by that, and I always will remember the things that I see on movies or the things that I see in real life. And I was very much involved in the Roman Catholic Church. I was an altar boy when I was young. I always served God, but then when I got older, I realized that church was not the place for me. Church was home. Church was just between me and God, me
Well,
and
yeah,
Jesus.
God is omnipresent. He's everywhere.
Right.
You
So
don't.
then when you go to church, you see all these people that are sinners and bad people, and like I'm like, what the heck are you people doing in here? You have no shame,
Yeah.
So as I got older, and as we all get older, we get wiser, some of us, and
Mhm.
then we have to cipher out the bad and the good, and there's good and bad in everything. There's bad psychics, there's good psychics, there's bad mediums, good mediums,
That's
there's
what
bad
we were
women, bad
saying,
men.
yeah, exactly. There are some really good people in the church who really believe what they're doing,
Yeah,
God's work, and there's
absolutely.
a lot of evil people. So
Yeah,
it's in every aspect of the world. Everybody's just gotta, like what Cat Williams said, you
yeah,
gotta pick a side, you gotta
yeah.
choose,
You got it.
like,
Yeah,
what side are you gonna work for and work on behalf of?
right.
And I think that's what it comes down to. So the people who want to judge us for
Hmm.
what we do because we're in the psychic realm or anything like
Hmm.
that really need to stop and check themselves, because think
Exactly.
about it. You're
Yeah.
getting value from the things that we do, and it's making you feel better, it's giving you
Mhm.
hope,
Yep.
it's doing something positive for you, then how are we evil? I don't
Yeah.
understand that part, right?
Remember what I said to you earlier when we spoke. I said, these people say that tarot and mediumship is a devilish thing or a bad thing
Yeah,
because we're tapping into spirit, and you're not supposed to do that. But yet we pray to God and Jesus and Mary and Joseph, and they're all spirits. And
yes.
even if you're a devil worshiper, you're praying to the devil because he's a spirit too, but a bad
Great
one.
great point, Mark,
So
great point.
who are you trying to fool here? Not
Exactly,
me. You know.
exactly.
So like when somebody says to me or comes in this room, like we've had some trolls here and there and saying, and or people that say, "Oh, you got to read the Bible and this and that," and it says you can't be a medium. I'm not going to read that book because I'm not going to dwell on what the Bible says because I do dwell on some of the things that are true, yes.
Mhm.
But how is it that I have this gift and I'm doing good things for people? I'm making everybody happy. I'm not
Ex
making everybody sad.
I don't know about you, Mark, but I feel that anything that makes you feel good and is positive, where you can feel it's not just, the momentary satisfaction because you ate a really good piece of cheesecake. I'm
Yeah,
talking about that's something that makes you feel really good on the
yeah,
spiritual front. You just know you can feel it in every aspect of your being. That kind of stuff is, I believe, is good. It's something that if you God would approve of,
right.
if you know what I
Yeah,
mean. It's something
exactly.
that could connect you to spirit, connect you to the
Yeah,
best place. And that's what I go by. I don't go by what
absolutely.
society says is
Mm.
this or that, or the Bible or the Torah or this. I
Yeah,
don't go by that. It's all
no, me neither.
man-made, man-written stuff. I go by what feels right. I feel
Exactly.
and I'm in the connection of
Hmm.
God. I've done a lot of spiritual work where I went into high meditation and I've connected with the source and the spirit. And so I know what that feels like. And I know that when I'm doing good, that's how I feel. And I feel that if I'm bringing hope and helping people, that's a good thing. That's what God wants. So
Exactly.
try to tell me it's negative. It's only negative if I decide to make it negative
Right.
by going to the dark side. If I don't
It's yeah,
decide to do that, if I stay on the positive side, hey, that's where I am and that's where I remain, right?
exactly. And I've seen some psychics over the years. I've mentioned this to you before, and I've mentioned it on my channel that people start off like spiritual and they
Mhm.
say God this and God that, and thank you Jesus and spirit and my angels and my guides and blah blah blah. And then you see them like a year or two later, and they're popular, and they're making all this money, and you don't hear that no more
Yeah,
because they've allowed their souls to get sold for money and for like likes and subscriptions and all
exactly.
this other crap that they're the algorithms the part of it.
Yeah.
um i
Well,
i, I don't want to let that ever get to me.
exactly, and then the trappings of all of this is like we were talking earlier again to
Mhm.
reference the Cat Williams
Yeah.
interview that was so popular is because he was basically outing what was going on with all of these comedians in Hollywood and so forth, which he's not the first one. A lot of people have done
Yeah,
that.
everyone
But
said it.
you can see that there's a point in their career where they
Mhm.
decide to go to the dark side. They may have started out with the best of intentions, but they
Exactly.
start
Yeah.
they start compromising their values and their
Mhm.
morals, and a
Yeah.
little bit chips away until they have completely compromised themselves.
Yeah.
That's when they end up in on the dark side. They end up a lot of times on drugs and
Yep.
uh, messed up, and then they end up getting compromised, and now they're in a trap that they can't get out of. And that's what we see a lot of with the people because people are too enticed by money and fame and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, "Come this way, right? Come
Yeah.
to the side, we have cookies,"
Yeah,
right?
it's temptation. That's what it is. It's like
Exactly.
if God wants to really see if you're about that life that you talk. So
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm constantly we're all gonna constantly get tested,
Yes,
even at our
yes,
higher spirituality point, even at
exactly.
our higher spiritual point where now, like we just said, we're back on the scene now. We're kind of like we took a break because of all the negative,
Right.
devilish people, pretty much,
Mhm.
that didn't want to see us be good to people and to others, because it's a competition between God and the devil. But really, God doesn't compete. He just says, "Look, you want to go there? Go ahead. I gave you free will.
Yes, absolutely.
Everybody has free will to do whatever they want."
Yes.
So I want to be a good person. I want to be a good medium. I want to have a reputation, because your reputation is built in years and lost in minutes. So it's really up to you whether or not you want to keep the reputation of working for God your whole life. So that way, when your spirit comes to up for an auction, are you going to go here? Are you going to go there? Or are you going to go here? And my whole perspective about that is there is a heaven, there is a hell, but you also, I feel like God and spirits told me this, and that's why there's mediumship,
Yes.
because mediumship works, because I feel like we as mediums and psychics can only read people that
Mhm.
God has said, okay, look, you're not really worthy to go into heaven, but you're not going to hell. But I'm
Mhm.
going to give you this option.
Right.
You're going to go back to earth as a spirit form, and you're going to help your family, your friends. You're going to live where you used to live. You're going to go wherever you want to go. But
Mhm.
don't double cross me, because all I have to do is just pick your little spirit up and just throw you wherever you need to go. So this is your choice. I feel like we have a choice because he gave us free will, right?
Mhm.
So when we
Ab
die, we still have that free will. So I think he says, okay, look, you're not worthy, like how the church says, you're not worthy to
Right.
receive me, but just say the word and you shall be healed. So if that's the case, then
Mhm.
I feel like that's why mediums exist. That's why psychics exist, because we're
Make
reading
Yeah.
these spirits on earth. The ones that are in heaven, we're not even nowhere near as privileged to talk to people like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I think, the
Well, that's
spiritual realm
super
is.
it's a super pure energy. I believe that we are all like, let me just run this by you.
Hmm.
I believe that we are all connected energetically, that we can pick up on each other in a
Hmm.
sense that it's almost like a collective thought bubble up there, and we can all tap into it
Yeah,
whenever we actually are quiet in the moment. A lot of times in meditation and things like that, we can sort of connect into that. I do feel that I've experienced that connectiveness where we are all one, and so
yes,
it does make sense, the spirits, even after they pass over, these are just meat suits, these are just
mhm,
physical
right,
things,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Even when they pass over, they're still part of the collective, and
Hmm.
we can tap into that conscious, unconscious collectiveness
Yeah,
of all of that. And so therefore, all of the information really is available to us at any
yeah,
time.
absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
And and on that note, it's I always like hear from spirit when I talk to them that we're all next to you. Like what do they say to you? Jesus is always next to you. God's always next to you.
True that.
God's here. It's a spirit. They don't have to dwell in heaven. Heaven is a place on earth. And
Yes,
it's I
absolutely.
feel like that. I feel like also God can't do everything, because
Yeah.
God is everything. So
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
can't, like, everybody's praying right now. There's billions of people praying right now. There's billions of people talking about God. So I feel like he says, okay, look, for you, Star, I'm gonna give you all your loved ones back, and you're gonna talk to them in spirit. You're all gonna go and talk to her whenever you want. You can guide her, you can protect her, heal her, make sure her life is fine if that's what you guys want to do. If you don't, you can go take care of your family. You guys can fluctuate. I feel like God has that power, and He does, to say,
Mhm.
you guys can go back on earth as a spirit. Because when your body leaves you, when your spirit leaves you and your soul leaves you, it's on earth, right? And you
Yes.
just float up and you can stay on earth. I feel like, that's how it works. And that's how we are able to connect with these people still, because they're available, they're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I could be wrong and I could be right, but that's how I feel, and that's what they have, like, portrayed to me. That's how they talk to me, because obviously, like, I can see them at your house. I can see them in your car. I can see them at their house. I
Right.
can describe them. So how is that possible?
Mhm.
Because they're there. They're here
Yeah,
with us. We can
exactly.
feel them. We can smell them. So how are
Mm.
they are just locked up in heaven in some world out there? It's not.
No,
To
no,
me,
it's
that's
the
not
energy.
possible.
It's everywhere. We
Right.
just tap
Right.
into it.
Exactly. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have access. Like you said, it's like a big bubble, and we have
And
access.
we have access to it. And that's
Right.
how I feel when I'm tapping into doing these readings for people, especially like the general readings that I do. When I'm shuffling the cards, I'm just tuning in and I'm just thinking about some people, like, because it's, I do it sign by sign. So it's
Hmm.
like Aries, I'm just shuffling and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
connecting with the most Aries, right? And I just
Yeah.
throw out the readings. And people say to me all the time, like, how do you do that? That's how I do it. It's just as
Hmm.
simple as that. I'm
Yeah.
sticking my finger in that energy up there and
Right.
say, "Come on,
And
connect
with,
me to the
yeah,
Aries," right?
with those sign readings,
Mhm.
it's just meant for you to see.
Mm. Yeah,
So if you're an Aries and you want to go in there, it's like me when you do the
mm,
Aquarius reading,
yeah.
I will go in there and I'll listen to the whole reading,
Mhm.
and then at the end I'll be like, "Yep, that part resonated, but this other part maybe it's coming, or maybe that's not for me. That's for someone else to read, because it's a
True.
general reading, so anybody can
Yeah,
cipher out whatever they want from it.
exactly. And the
So
readings are meant
yeah.
to help. They're meant
Right,
to
it's
help.
meant to help you, right? Or to like,
Exactly.
or if it's for people who just want to hear something that resonates, so they feel like, okay, I'm connected to spirit, I'm connected to star, I'm connected to Mark.
Right. Exactly.
And I tell everyone, I always tell everyone, it's impossible for me to read every single person.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm not meant to read every single person in the world.
The same thing with me. It's the same
Right,
thing. We talked about this before
right.
as readers that some people, some clients will connect with me, and some will connect with you
Hmm.
or connect with somebody
Yeah,
else. It's
because I
not a
yeah.
competition. It's just like
No.
you find the one. It's like a physician, right? Let's say like
Hmm.
somebody goes to a doctor and he says, "Oh, this is the greatest doctor I've ever been to. You need to go to
Hmm.
that doctor." But then somebody else
Right,
goes to that doctor, and that doctor doesn't do as well for them.
exactly.
Matter of,
Yeah,
"Oh, well,
not
okay,
for
you
you.
gotta
Yeah.
find the right doctor for you, you gotta find the right,
Exactly. Yeah,
person who's gonna tap into your energy," so
right. And we're so lucky to have that variety. But people
yeah,
abuse the variety. People
exactly.
abuse the variety, and they are. And another thing I tell a lot of people is, I'm guilty of it too, and I think everybody's guilty of it. Is we if we like psychic stuff, we go into a person's room and we say, "Hey, I want a reading. I'm asking you, when will I find love?" That's the famous question of
Yeah,
the century.
right.
So one person, I go to 10 different psychics, and five of them are right and five of them are wrong.
Mhm.
But that does those wrong psychics were wrong for that one question, maybe. But if you were to go back to
Exactly.
them a year later and say, "Hey, this person's online. I'm drawn
Mhm.
to go back in there. I know they were wrong about my love life, but let me go check something else."
Right.
And
Mhm.
that's exactly how it works.
Yeah,
No, it's you're meant to hear what you're supposed to hear from a certain person, and
totally.
maybe they wasn't right that time, but maybe they're going to be right the second time.
Mhm.
How many times are you wrong? How many times are you right?
Yeah,
Everything changes. It all changes. And if you go to multiple people asking them the same question, and you're
100
the spirit that's in charge of answering that question to every single damn psychic you go to on YouTube, that
yeah.
spirit's going to be like, "What the hell
Oh,
is wrong with you, Mark?
right.
Like, why are you going to Star? Why are you going to this person? Why just let it be, And if
Right.
you ask it a million times,
Mhm.
you're pretty much like indirectly disrespecting yourself and spirit, because
Yep.
you're not letting the thing happen. Just allow
Exactly.
things to just naturally flow. You can get readings. I'm fine with that, but not every single day with tens
Yeah,
of thousands of
exactly,
people.
and that's totally makes sense because when I was younger and I first started going for readings and everything else, I was like that. It's like, and then I got my first deck of cards and I kept asking the same question like 5
Yep.
times a day, and it's like, oh, and then instinctively, I just knew that wasn't a good thing. And
Right.
very hard for readers to read for themselves anyway because there's too much
Yeah.
bias there, but
I
but
don't really do
it
it too
was
much. Yeah.
it doesn't stop us from trying when
No, I definitely try. Definitely with sports, I'm like, is my team gonna win today? And they're like, no, and then they end up winning. I'm like, you guys really like effing with me, don't you? You know. So like, I think they do it on purpose, and I think they're like, look, Mark, don't ask me stupid damn questions about your team playing today. You know. So
yeah,
I feel like they're kind of like they. I feel like we're gonna get the right answers if we're in the right frame of mind or we're doing the right things. If we're bad people, you're not going to get the right answers. You're just going to, or you might get the right answers, but you're not going to do what you're saying. And I can tell you right now, in next week, you're going to buy a brand new car and, and everything's going to be fine and dandy and it's going to be red and, whatever. But then you can say, you know what, I went to the store and, I really like the blue one better than the red one.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I
you can
buy
come
the
back to
red
me
one
and say,
because Mark told me to.
right. But that's your preference at the end of the
Right.
day. So you can say, hey, Mark, look, you were right. I did buy the car, but I bought the blue one. It actually looks better than the red one.
Yeah,
And I'm like, okay, cool.
I
So
know,
at the end of the day, you have free will. After the reading, you still
right?
have free will to do whatever
Yeah.
you want, you know?
This is the thing I always say in my readings. Like I
Hmm.
stress it to people, like when the classic thing for all of us readers on YouTube, where they say, "Oh, my ex, I don't want to see my ex coming back. Oh, never mind.
Hmm.
Oh, don't tell me my ex is coming back." But I always try to stress to them, like, you remember you have free will, right? Just because your ex comes
Exactly.
back doesn't mean you
Hmm.
have to accept them. You could
Hmm.
just say,
Right.
thanks, no thanks,
Yeah,
right? You have the free will. You don't have to
absolutely.
accept that
Yeah.
person back in your life,
Hmm. Yeah.
and people, you got to remind them of that from time to time.
Hmm.
It's like, I don't know what people think free will is, but it's that. It's the ability to speak up and say, no, I
Yeah.
don't want that person. Just because they come back doesn't mean you have to welcome them
Yeah.
with open
Well,
arms.
like I always say, there's the different words for the same meaning. So free will is basically your choice, you know?
Yes, that's
So
what
instead of
that's
saying
what
free will, I always say, look, it's your choice. So
mm,
it's English, so they understand it, Because
yeah,
free will might be a little difficult for them
yeah, true.
sometimes, because it's a spiritual term. It's just like when people say, oh, this person is my twin flame, but I know it's difficult. When people say that to me, I'm like, twin flame to me is just another word for your soulmate and your partner and your spouse and your
Yeah,
boyfriend and your
pretty.
girlfriend. You know that, right? It's just a strong connection. That's all that twin flame means. So don't
Yeah.
try and confuse me with these words, It's
Mhm.
just like my name is Mark, but you can also put a mark on the wall and a mark
Yes,
on the
true.
ground. So one thing means many things. One word means many things.
That's true, yeah.
So
People
that's
get
what I tell people: be open minded to
and
everything, and
people
learn
do
from.
people do get too hung up on the words themselves
Yeah, they
sometimes.
do. Yeah,
So
and
you have to be so careful, especially when, you're out there on, like we are, on
mhm,
public
yeah,
forum and so forth. You say the wrong thing, and then people are just too jumping in there to try and
right.
correct you, and you're like, well, that's kind of what I meant, but whatever, we'll
Yeah,
let it go.
and also the other thing, being a psychic and a medium, is time frames is the biggest thing. Everybody wants to know when, how,
Yes,
where,
that's
and it's time frames have always been the most difficult thing to be right about.
yes, I agree 100%. Yeah,
And that's something that people also have to realize is time waits for no one. Time can change.
right. Yeah,
You can say today I'm going to go tomorrow I'm going to work 8 to 5, but when you wake up you have a headache or you start throwing up because you ate something the day before and you got food poisoning.
exactly. Yeah.
So you didn't go work, right? But you planned it. But you
Right.
planning God laughs sometimes.
Totally. And you know what? I feel that when it comes to trying to predict time, I can only tell when something is close because I feel it. If I
Right.
feel the energy, I'm doing a reading and I say, hey, this is close. Like this is coming
Hmm.
around the corner. If you don't
Yeah.
do anything to mess this up, it's coming in quickly.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, but other than that, time is always
Yeah.
is key because you can see a time frame where I'm doing a reading, oh, in 2 weeks from now.
Yes.
But that may play out in 2 weeks, but it may not. It may play out in 3,
Right.
or it may play out
3 weeks.
in a week. It just
Hmm.
depends on what gets shifted and
Yeah.
changed in that time frame, right?
When
Oh,
I did a couple years ago, I did a tarot class, and I try to teach people how to like ask the questions as a psychic, and do certain things
right.
in my way, the way I was taught, and the way that I believe is right.
Mhm.
So you can take your cards, and a lot of those cards have numbers on them, right?
Mhm.
So you can sit there, you can grab your cards and say, Star wants to know, how many days, I can say, how many days is it going to be before
This
she
happened.
gets her payment from so and so.
Yeah, yeah.
So I will shuffle the cards, and I'll ask Spirit, just give me one card
Mhm.
with a number, if
Yeah,
you can. I know that's kind of like, really asking them to do something really, specific, but you
mhm,
can do it. And
yeah,
say they gave you the Nine of Wands upright.
mhm,
So I'm going to tell you, Star, in 9 days, you're going to get your money from so and so.
yeah,
And say it happened in 8 days. So
mhm,
you would tell me, Mark, guess what? It happened in 8 days. So you were pretty much right. It happened within a 9 day period.
right,
But what if it happened 10 days? You would say, oh, it happened the next day. So it wasn't nine. They took an extra day because they
yeah,
probably, it
exactly.
went to the bank, and the bank told them that
Do that.
they had a glitch, or the retrograde happened.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's like you can't be perfect. It's
No,
impossible.
can't be bang on,
Yeah.
and in terms of the numbers from the cards, sometimes that does happen with me, but it's
Hmm.
rare. I'll look at something and I'm like, they say when, and I'm like, "Okay, 3 days," because that's what I'm
Hmm.
getting, and yet
Right.
was the 3 of Wands or something, but I'm
Yes.
picking up, but most of the time, I don't get that from numbers from the card,
Hmm.
but every once in a while, when it happens, I say it
Yeah. Yeah.
because I feel that there's a reason why I'm being guided to say
Mhm.
so. That's
Right. And another way I do it is, you and I. One of the reasons why I started watching you is because you read reversals, and I think that's a big issue with a lot of people.
mhm.
Is they don't read tarot upright. They just read upright and upright only.
Okay.
But if you think about it, there's 78 cards in that tarot deck.
Right?
So if you read reversals, you have 156 meanings.
Yes.
So would you rather be half smart or whole smart? You
Right.
know, would you rather have half the information or all the information?
No, I understand that because a lot of times people feel that I don't know, whatever other tarot card readings do is none of my business, but I know that some of them
Right.
feel that they don't like to do the reversals because they're negative, but that's not the
Yeah.
case. See, because I studied the story of the tarot, and when you know
Mhm.
the story of the tarot, you know
Exactly.
that the reversals aren't necessarily negative. Like
No.
take the tower, for example. It's more negative in the upright than it is in reverse. But if you
Exactly.
know the story of the tarot, it makes sense when the
Hmm.
reversals are here.
Exactly.
8 of Cups turn, like, reversed, going back
Exactly. It's
to 7
good.
of Cups
Right.
indicates that, yeah, in the 8 of Cups, this person is looking for
Hmm.
something more emotionally fulfilling, going to the 9 of Cups, but if it's reversed, they're going to back to the past, to the
Right.
7 of Cups to look for
Hmm.
options in there. So, if you know the full story of the tarot and you can read them upright and reverse, then
Yeah.
you are
You have
very
more
knowledgeable.
information. Yeah.
Yeah, you have
It's
all the information.
one. The thing is, another thing is I've taught people is what I've learned on my own is that because I read the upright and reversal meanings, I
Mhm.
also can say, if a lot of people want a yes and no answer, or
Right.
you want to confirm.
Mhm.
You want to confirm that it is yes or it is no.
Mhm.
So what I do is I grab my cards and I say, listen, Spirit, look, I want to know, is Star going to get her money for sure in January? So, what I'm going to do, Spirit, is I'm going to ask you to do this for me. As I shuffle this deck, I'm going to pull one card, and I
Mhm.
don't care what card it is. If it's upright, the answer is yes. And if it's reversed, the answer is no.
Mm,
And
okay.
that's how I talk to Spirit. And that's how I talk to them to give me the answer.
That's yeah.
So then I'll shuffle my cards. If it comes out reversed,
Mhm.
and it's a good card in reverse, it doesn't matter because I didn't ask them that. I
Right,
told
right.
them,
Just
hey,
ask
look,
yes or no.
I don't care what card it is. I just want to upright or reverse to say yes or no to confirm what's going on. And
Mhm.
that's how I read.
Yeah, yeah, see,
And I've
everybody
taught people that that's what you can do.
and that's what I'm saying, everyone has their own way of doing things, as
Hmm.
long as they're working for the good side, there's
Right.
no reason for anybody to be afraid of them or say,
No.
that they're working against God, because I know myself I'm not, and I know
Right.
you're not, and I know a lot of other tarot readers are out there are
Yeah.
not working for any kind of evil. So you just got to pick and choose. It's like you got to pick and choose a doctor. You got to pick and
Yeah.
choose, you know, which
Hmm.
grocery store you're going to. You've got
Right.
something that it's a personal choice. So
Yeah.
you can go with what feels right for you.
And I'm not trying. I never try to like tell somebody that you have to read and you have to do this and you have to do that.
Mhm.
Um, I personally don't take pop outs when it pops out, because if you're like a card shark and you play, rummy or euchre or spades,
Right.
when you're playing with multiple people and a card comes out, you got to put it back in the deck
Yeah,
because it's exposed. You don't, you're gonna know I have the ace of spades, right?
exactly.
So I always felt like I can't take pop outs. But you know what happens sometimes is that card that popped out comes up in the three cards in the spread.
I know, isn't that wild how that happens? That's happened to me, but it's when I'm shuffling the cards, like, I can see the bottom of the deck. It's like,
Hmm.
say the 10 of wands comes out when I'm shuffling, I'm talking to the person, because when I'm doing my live readings, I do it live on camera, so I'm talking to the person, pick up their energy, and then I notice, like, say the 10 of wands is at the bottom of the deck, and then I'll say, "Okay, we're ready to do the spread," and then I spread it up, sure enough, the 10
Right.
of wands or whatever card will show up in that spread. It's
Yeah.
so weird. It's like you get this
It
little
is.
glimpse,
Yeah.
right?
It's like you get a glimpse of what you're about to see. And when you
Yes,
see it that
exactly.
second
Like,
time, you're like, holy shit, it just happened. Like I just saw that.
right?
That's
Right.
spirit saying, even though I'm gonna pop it out for you, I'm just gonna let you already. It's like they give you a heads up. So you can
Exactly.
already so when that card comes up in the reading, you're like, you already know what you gotta say.
It's a sneak, preview.
Sneak peek.
Also, too, I feel that it has more, that's why I always look at the bottom of the deck, and sometimes
Mhm.
I'll show the customers, like, "Look at this. The 2 of cups came out. It just came out in your reading now, too." Like,
Yeah,
because I feel it has more significance if I notice it. Like you
yeah,
said, the pop-out card or something.
yeah.
If
Right.
I notice it before, or if a card falls on the floor and I pick it up,
Mhm.
shuffle it in, and then all of a sudden it
Yeah.
shows up in the reading. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to be against like readers that shuffle hard and want the cards pop out because they think that spirit's like knocking the deck and making
Right.
them come out. But
Right.
I understand that that's their way. I
Yeah.
had to like really, say, Mark, just leave them alone.
Yeah.
I know that's not like, to me, that's not the way that I would ever read, because I used to play cards, with playing cards. So I can't take the pop up, you know, because
Oh,
you're
yeah.
gonna know what I have. So if I'm playing with you and Tony and
Yeah.
Mike, so
Yeah.
and I'm shuffling and the ace of spades comes out, you guys are gonna know what I have. So it's cheating, you're gonna know. You're gonna be like, yeah, I know Mark's got
Yeah.
the ace, so I'm gonna wait.
Yeah,
So
it's
like
like
I feel like I know it's not the same when you're dealing with one-on-one tarot,
right.
but I've played cards so much in my lifetime
Yeah.
that every time a card popped out, I never wanted it to, I had to go put it back in the deck. So when I
Right.
use tarot, I have the same like analogy, like, I can't do it. But then when it comes out in the reading, I'm like, holy, like what the hell?
See?
Like, I
Exactly.
told you I don't want pop outs. So like
I think
it's
it
just a
has
confirmation.
more significance when it pops up again. If it comes
Yeah,
around again, it's like it's just basically spirit telling you that, it's like when I use clarifiers in my personal readings,
yeah,
if a card keeps popping up the same card, like it's a strong message now.
yeah. Right. And that's the thing. Everybody has their way, and I respect
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
respect everybody's way, because I have really good readers that they have pop outs and it works, and
Exactly.
I realized that it's not for me to like, judge them anymore. I used to be like, that this is bull, like, what the hell are you doing? But then I had to say, you know what, Mark, they probably never played cards like me. So
Yes.
they don't know that concept. So I'm very open minded to how people work. And
Right.
I'm a, I love the way other people work, and I see
Yeah.
what they do. But I always tell people how I work,
Right.
and I say, it may work for you. How I work may work for you. We all learn from somebody.
Exactly.
And the very first tarot reader I was watching was my friend Kate, and she worked on a website, and she still works there, and I've known her for 15 years, and she always had reversals. She always used the reversals, and she had the upright, she had the traditional rider waite tarot.
Right. Right.
And I used to watch this woman. I'm like, she reads the reversals, but I don't see too many people do that.
No.
And I'm like, you know what? And then when she shuffled, and then that card came back up upright. She knew everything to say. And I was like, I want to be like her. I want to
Well,
have all
yeah,
this knowledge, you know?
but the reason is, Mark, is 78 cards are hard enough to memorize, but double
Yeah.
when the reversal
But
comes, right?
yeah. But the
So,
thing, yeah. So I remember like, it was I said to myself, this is like, it's a job. You have to learn all these damn cards,
uh,
upright and reversed, and you
100%.
have to make a story out of it. And another thing I do is I only pull three cards to answer a question.
Yeah,
I don't like sit there and do a Celtic cross or
yeah.
nine cards and clarifiers. I don't really do that, but I know some people need that.
Mhm.
I'll pull three cards and I'll look at the bottom one as my clarifier or my
Right. Yeah,
confirmation,
yeah.
because that's how I ask spirit how I want it, you
Yeah,
know?
that's what I'm
And
saying. Everybody
right.
operates in their own.
Everybody has their way. So
Yeah,
everybody's unique in their own way. And
exactly.
I
So you
tell people, I may be a medium and the best medium for you, but I might not be for someone else because I never got anything for that person.
yeah.
And another thing is a lot of people don't really know who their ancestors are. I dealt with people that were orphans that didn't know who their parents were.
Oh,
So they're like, I don't know my parents, Mark.
oh,
I don't know who they are. I don't know anything. So, like, can you tell me something? I'm like, okay, I'll see what I can get. But then those spirit might not come through because they're so embarrassed that they gave up that child. You see, and I tell
yeah,
people
yeah, I
that this all comes
that
into play.
that
You
makes
know, and another thing is, I've told a lot of people that I see in my mediumship years is when women have miscarriages.
mhm,
It doesn't matter how many you have. That baby is and was a human form in your body at
right.
one point. They were made. So even though there was a miscarriage, they turn into a spirit.
Mhm. That's true. That's very
And
true.
then, because I read this woman one time, and I said, "Look, I see a little girl around your son. I know you said you only have a son." And she
Mhm.
said, "Mark, I had a miscarriage before my son."
Right.
So then I'm like, here we go again. This is another thing that I'm learning. Because you think, oh, because you had a miscarriage or you're an orphan and you don't know your family. That's not true. The spirit is still there. It still becomes a spirit, an
Well,
unborn child, unborn pet, anything.
it's interesting because the type of work that we do is interesting because you never stop learning. Like,
No,
you can't stop learning. I'm
no.
still learning. I'm still trying. I'm still, constantly doing my research.
Hmm.
I'm on
Yeah.
the internet all the time. I have books. I'm looking up reference material all the time. And this is a good thing because
Right. It
y-
is. Yeah.
you have to keep learning. You can't just stay
Yeah.
stagnant and
Yeah.
accept that that's just going to work for you. You've got
Yeah.
to try new things, put yourself out there,
Hmm.
try this, try
Yeah.
that. And you know what? Some things are going to work and they're not. Some things
Yeah.
are not. And you have to be okay with that.
Yeah. My
So,
my whole thing is the more you learn, the more you earn, and not money. You earn
yeah.
respect. You earn knowledge. You earn everything. So
Experience, yes, is
when
huge.
when I've done all these years I've done mediumship, I've learned that, hey, this woman just confirmed she had a miscarriage, and she knew it was a daughter, a girl. So
Oh,
this is the little girl in spirit that her little boy talks to
mm,
in the room playing toys. Like, this can't be true. This can't be real. I say to myself, but I'm seeing it.
mhm.
And I said, look, this little girl looks like 5 years old, and she goes, oh my God, that's when it happened. So
Wow.
like it blows my mind when
Yeah, eh?
a little child can talk to me in spirit and say, hey, look, this and this. And I remember my first mediumship reading, the lady, my friend Joanna, said to me, you have tons of kids around you, and they're all orphans because they know you would take them in.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was like, when she said that to me, I was like, you got to be kidding me, because I hear children all the time,
Mhm.
talk to me, and things like that. And she was like, yeah, they want to be around you because there's no one else. So there's people that have that connection with children also. And
Yeah,
then you have people that have the pet connection.
right.
Even our pets are around us.
Yeah.
People have to be just open to to like they're not hurting you. They didn't hurt you in a physical world when they were with you, so they're not going to hurt you in a spiritual world.
Right.
So when they're around you,
That
right?
goes back to the fear factor we were talking about earlier.
Exactly. So you can't have that fear of them being around you in a spiritual form. You have to invite them in, you
Exactly,
know?
because they disappear just like that if they
Yeah,
feel frightening you or scaring you.
yeah,
If they care about you, they don't want you to be
right.
afraid, so
Yeah,
they'll just disappear. The energy will just go away right
yeah.
away. They feel the
Because
fear.
another experience I had a few years ago with another reader, she said to me, I wonder if my dad is around because I feel him around the house, but
Mhm,
I don't know if he's here. And I tapped into the situation and I see him outside by a barn.
mhm.
And I said, "Look, you have a barn outside with a lot of wood and stuff." And she says, "Yeah, that was his old barn." I said, "He's out there because you haven't invited him inside."
Yeah.
And she's like, "What do you mean?"
Mhm.
And I said, "Well, you don't want spirit in your home. You've told me that many a times. You don't want that freaky shit to happen, right?" And I said, "Look, he's telling me he wants to come into your home, sit on the couch, and watch TV.
Mhm.
Can you do that for him?" And she says, "Are you kidding me, Mark? You serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm being dead serious." This is what he said. So
Mhm.
she said to me that she did that. She was open to it. Took her 2 or 3 days. She opened the door and said, "Dad, come inside if you want. I have it on the channel, the sci-fi channel that you like." So she turned on the TV. And do you know that he would turn it off and turn it on when she wasn't around or whatever, and she would come home sometimes and see the damn TV on the channel.
Is that right?
And she said, "Mark, all I had to do is that. You kidding me? Like, I'm so happy I know this now
Yeah,
because I want my dad to be
right?
here. I don't want him to be in a damn barn." So
Wow,
like it
amazing.
hearing things like that,
Mhm.
you just after the reading, I was just in awe, like saying to myself, "Mark, this is real. This is no joke. Like, I can't believe that this is happening. I just made this woman the happiest person on earth because, and her
Right?
dad is happy as shit too because he's like, finally, I don't have to be in the barn all the time. I can be sitting watching the TV."
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And that's why I tell people, if you really want to talk to your brother, if you really want all your spiritual family in
Right.
your home, they will come there. It's not a problem.
That's
You
true.
just have to open that door. You literally have to open your door and say, "Hey guys, so and so come in, so and so come in." And you're like, "I don't really want them in here." Okay, well, so and so you can come in here. You make your choice.
Yeah,
And that's the truth. You have to make
yeah,
your choice.
yeah.
You
Free will.
know,
You have
it's
your
free
choice.
will. You just say,
But
"Look, I want them here."
the whole thing is the fear factor. You gotta get rid of the fear factor. You
Yeah,
can't
but there's nothing to fear because they're not
it
going to harm you if they love you.
sometimes they will wreak havoc in your house. I've had them,
Oh
pop
yeah.
kids off of, coffee pots
Yep.
and, strange things in your house, but you can't be fearful. It's not
Mhm.
poltergeist. They're not coming in
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
your house or
But
anything.
that's why you have to pick and choose who you want there.
Yes, exactly.
And that's the
Do
thing.
not be afraid ever. Do not be
Yeah,
afraid because fear only keeps them away. So
yeah,
to
and
welcome them, right?
it's so amazing to be honest. I have so many stories. I'm actually thinking about writing a book on it all.
Yeah.
One day. I think I'm just gonna record myself on on my phone and just like say everything or something, and then just
Right.
write it all down afterwards. But I don't want to do it yet because I have a lot more to see. You know.
Yes, you have a lot more to experience still. You're not there,
Yeah.
but
But
yeah.
doing this, I know it's recorded and I know it's like people can watch it anytime. And I say it on my channel too as well. And I just tell everybody like it's so amazing how this is real and it's true. Like
Mhm.
and it took me a while to understand that it is real and when specific mediumship readings happen, it makes me feel like this rejuvenation feeling that yes, I am on the right track. Yes, I
Yeah.
am real. Yes, this is like
Right.
I'm getting this information because I'm doing the work. I'm working on myself. I'm not evil. I'm
Right.
not bad. I'm not like doing bad things. I'm living a good life. I'm
Mhm.
praising God, I'm praising spirit, I'm praising my past loved ones. I pray every day, I help everyone with no like expectations of anything. So now that I do that, I feel like God says, okay, we're going to reward you now. We're going to let you really see what you can do, say, and feel. And
Yeah.
we're going to allow you to be whatever you want to be, because you have free will. You can disconnect from that reading if you want, or disconnect from that person or that spirit, or you can have your uncle, your aunt inside your house if you want.
Right.
It's up to you, but they don't have to stay. You can just say, like, anytime you want to come here, my door is open. How many
Mhm.
times people say that to you?
Yeah.
Anytime you come here, my door
Yeah.
is open.
It's always open to you.
Yeah. So you've got to say that to your brother. If you want to, if you really want and you know what, you also got to say, hey, I want my privacy too.
Yeah,
When
exactly.
I'm sleeping in my bed with Tony, you can't be in my room.
Back
You have
off.
to go chill out in the living room, buddy. Okay. So when we're in this room, you can go in that room. Or you have to like
Yeah, yeah.
actually tell them that, or you
Boundaries.
could
Set
say,
your
yeah,
boundaries, right?
yeah, you have to like pretty tell them, hey, look, you can go visit mom, or you can go visit this person, or you can
Yeah,
visit, your other sister.
yeah.
But if you ever want to come, or if you have like a party like you guys do, you show people, hey, we had a great time on New Year's, or we had a great time on this day. You can invite your brother.
Well, it's funny because you had mentioned on that
Yeah,
mediumship reading about the cheers, and we always do that. We always go cheers, cheers,
right.
bro, cheers, Rick, and we
Yeah,
do that
right.
thing. And you said that cheers thing. I'm like, yeah, I
Yeah,
totally knew he was part of that. But
yeah.
anyway,
He, yeah,
I'd like to get to the chat here. If you've been keeping on
yeah,
top
sure.
of the chat here. Do you guys out in the audience have any questions for Mark here for a minute? I'm just going to quickly run to the washroom. You guys can talk to Mark and see if you have any questions for him. And
I
I'll be
like to
right
say
back.
hi to everybody. Hey, Ninja, how you doing? Hey, Jessica, Ruby's Angel, Tony, how you doing, bro? Susan, how you guys doing? Thanks for being here. Age of Aquarius, everyone that's here, I appreciate you guys. CC, I'm going down the list here. I want to say hello to everybody. I like to greet everybody that's a part of the chat. That's how I do things. Everything's good. This was a long time coming. I've always wanted to chat with Star live and have a collab with her and talk about psychic things. I think more people need to do stuff like this, and I know it's happening a lot more. Hey, Angel, how you doing? Happy New Year to everybody. I think a lot of people have a lot to say, and a lot of people have a lot of experiences, and our experiences can also help other people. So whatever I've said here and whatever Star's saying here, if you understand and relate, you're not alone. We can all tap into spirit. We can all talk to our past loved ones. We can all say what we need to say, and we can always have them in your home. If you miss them, even your pet, it doesn't matter. You just call upon whoever you want and invite them into your home. It's that simple. Jessica, you said, Mark, do we have to tell spirit to give us our privacy? Yeah, absolutely. No, they know, but it's I think that when people get comfortable, they should know, but you gotta say, if you feel like they're in the bathroom with you, or they're in the same bedroom with you, and you feel them, like, you gotta say something, obviously, right? Because they're there. But some of them, it all depends on who it is, and who you're bringing in. But obviously, if it's someone that that respects you, you don't have to worry about that. But it's just a common courtesy thing, just to like let them know, hey, you can come into my home, but remember, this is my home. You can't just do whatever you want, even though you're a spirit. Because I've seen where people have invited someone in, and they actually regretted it after a while, because they thought that they had changed. I keep telling people don't change in that aspect sometimes, or because they're a spirit doesn't mean that they're going to change. So it's just, you got to set your boundaries, just as if you had somebody move in with you. You have to say, hey, look, you got to respect me this way, that way. At 10 o'clock I do that, at 11 o'clock I do this. Just tell them, like, it doesn't hurt. They're not going to get offended. Just tell him, look, don't get offended, but I don't want you to like follow me around my damn house. You can stay here on the couch and chill. That's fine, and that's it. And I just like I told my this person one day, your dad's outside in the barn, but you can tell him, hey, look, when I'm not here, you need to go back to the barn. And she says, oh no, hell no, he can stay here. I love my dad, and it's fine. He can stay. I'm just so glad I know now. Another thing is, sometimes when you find nickels or dimes or feathers, that's another sign that spirits around you or they're outside and they want to be, they want to come inside. They want to hang out with you. So it's really up to you, what you want to do. Hey Ali, how you doing? So it's really we all have the power to deal with spirit, to talk to spirit, to acknowledge them, to invite them. It's really up to us. Even if you have a pet cat or a dog or a bird or whatever your pet is, you can invite them back. You call them by their name and you say, hey, look, you can hang out with me. You can be sleeping with me on my bed like you used to. You can do this. You can do that. Just don't do anything. Don't tease my damn dog I have now. Don't be jealous of it, and don't aggravate it. Don't make him bark all damn night because he sees you. So you have to like really. I've learned over the years that I have to control what spirit says and what spirit does to me, you know, and what they show me. So you have to be stern with some of them, but some of them, Jessica, they do know, they should know, and they do know how you are. So if they really know you, then they know that they can't do that. But if they don't really like, if they have lost track, or you just think that they can do whatever, you just have to, address them nicely and just tell them.
Well,
Age of Aquarius, you said, what's my opinion on inviting spirit? If that need me inviting them. No. Well, if they're negative, then they're going to be negative. But if they're a positive spirit, they're going to be positive.
right.
Um, you have to address the person. Like, say, like, if you, for instance, Star's brother, she can say his name and say, hey, my bro, so and so, I want you to come here. I want you to be with us today. We're having a party in memory of you, or we're just having a New Year's party. We're having a get together. Everybody that's going to be here. You're more than welcome to be at our table or to just hang out with us, please. He's not going to say, okay, I'm going to start throwing cups and breaking shit, because I don't like so and so. That's not going to happen, because you know who the person is. You see what I
Right.
mean? So you have to like talk to them like you talk to them in real life.
Hmm.
You just have to like talk to them like they're there, like they're really there. But if you have negative attachments, then that's your problem. You're bringing in someone that you're not supposed to be bringing in. So you're pretty much inviting an idiot to come in there that's in spirit. And they're not going to change.
You know what, Mark? It's interesting when you mentioned the thing about the pets because I had two dogs. Like we had Lexi, everybody knows Lexi, but
Mhm.
we had another dog called Brooklyn, and he was a beautiful, beautiful dog. And they were very close, the two of them. Brooklyn was older, and Lexi was still young when Brooklyn passed. And then it was interesting because we used to look at Lexi for a period of time. She used to look whenever we talked about Brooklyn amongst ourselves, she'd look up in the sky and she'd point to like poke her nose at us and then look up there
Yeah.
and look
Right.
not in the sky but in the ceiling, right? She'd be like,
Hmm.
there he is,
Yeah.
he's right there. And we all
Yeah.
got the feeling that that's what she was doing. So that's
Right.
probably what she was doing, right? She was
Absolutely.
probably
Yeah.
you're talking about Brooklyn, he's right there.
You're
That
right. And that's
was
exactly what they do. They look up. Yeah.
always the same spot that she would look
Hmm.
at.
Right.
Always the same spot in the ceiling.
Yeah.
So
My dog does the same thing. Like, she doesn't know who my old dog is, but my old dog is around, and
oh,
she'll look up in the corner here all the time, and I'll be like,
uh,
she'll look and she'll be like, oh shit, that's another dog there. Like, who
yeah,
the hell is that? And sometimes she'll growl, and then sometimes, but she knows that it's not a negative one,
yeah,
because she comes in ever since she's been living in here.
uh,
The past like year and she's been living with me for like 2 years inside now. She used to be an outside dog. She never wanted to come inside, but we did a renovation. I bring her inside,
okay.
and she uh she now looks in the corner here by the door, and she's like, and then she'll get up and she'll be like, like
Mhm.
smelling around. I'm like, there's no one here. You see the spirit,
Yeah.
and that's how it works. It's they can see spirit, and
Well,
and so can kids.
it's funny because I lived in this one house once upon a time in the basement, and I used to call it ghost dog. I used to actually see this weird dog running in behind. There was a wet bar there, running in behind the bar, and because I had 2 dogs at the time, and I was like, "Well, what was that I keep seeing?" And
Yeah.
then another neighbor told me one time about the dog that had died in the house, and I'm like, "I think
Mhm.
I see." So described the dog, and that was the dog I kept seeing,
Yep.
like glimpse of this dog just running in
Yeah.
front of the bar all the time.
Yeah. I mean, that happens. It's
Mhm.
it's fascinating to know that it's real, and it's fascinating to know like it actually can happen, and you do get those flashes because they're comfortable being with you. Like
Yeah,
they're not against you being in their home now,
yeah,
or they're not
and
against you.
obviously knew I was a dog lover because I had dogs
Right.
of my own and
Exactly. And they just want someone else to play with,
but
and
true,
that's how it works. And if I explain it to someone who doesn't believe it, they're gonna be like, "Yeah, this guy's on some type of drug or something. This can't be real." But it is. Like it's so hard to explain to a non-believer, and it's so hard to explain to people
mhm,
who think that, oh yeah, there's something wrong with you. Like that's not possible, but
exactly,
it definitely is, and anybody can really see that stuff. If that spirit feels comfortable and say, let me just show her, like let me try and prove
yeah.
myself here, you know.
I see here in the chat, Miss Ninja, Ninja, welcome. I was busy talking to Mark when you came on the chat, but welcome, my darling. And she just wrote Lexus. That's her pet name for my dog, Lexi. But it just reminds me of something Ninja had told me about her cat that passed away. Ninja, if you're still in the chat, do you remember telling me about your cat that passed away and how you felt him still there and your new cat you believed? Yeah, okay, there, yeah, she's on there. So yeah,
Mhm.
she had an experience with
Yeah.
cat as well because
Right.
she's very in touch with Ninja's
Mhm.
very much in touch with the
Yeah.
spirit world too.
Yeah.
And I feel that anybody who has a good spirit, who's a good person at heart,
Mhm.
will always, as long as they're not afraid, they can open themselves up
Yeah.
to
Absolutely.
be able to see, especially loved ones or pets or
Mhm.
whatever who passes away. I think we can all get in touch with that if
Yeah.
we're working for the good.
Yeah.
Lexi is my little floof. Oh, is that Allie?
It's
Allie,
Ali. Yeah.
Allie. I knew that was Allie when I saw the floof because she always called Lexi floof.
Yeah.
My little floofy butt. Yeah. Hey, Allie. Hey, all of you guys. Age of Aquarius. Nice to see all of you in here. Amanda, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to know from you guys in the chat, are you enjoying this podcast? This is the first podcast so far. And Mark has been so wonderful to be my first guest here on the podcast. And so I just want to know, are you guys enjoying this? I'm taking a poll. Are you enjoying it, Mark? I'm really
Oh,
enjoying
absolutely. I love talking about things like this. I can talk, as you know, on my lives every night. Anybody can tell you, I'll talk for hours and hours about things like this.
Good enough. But this is
Because
really we get to
yeah,
talk to each other and you know,
right,
it's
exactly.
it's different when you have to just the chat. So
Yeah,
you're responding to people in the chat, but this way at least we can
yeah,
talk to each other. So that's
yeah,
why podcasts are really super cool. So
yep.
yes, Jessica says yes, absolutely. Ninja says of course. Amanda says yes, it was awesome. See, this is what I love about podcasts. I mean, they're becoming really popular nowadays, and I
Hmm.
can see why because people
Yeah,
love to hear the interaction between people. I mean, you and I are different people, but
right.
we're very
Yeah.
much on the same level in a lot of ways. So
Hmm.
what we have to say in our exchange with one another is,
Hmm.
interesting, I
Yeah,
guess. I watch podcasts all the time. That's
yeah,
mostly
me too.
all I watch. I mean,
Yeah,
other than movies or a certain show on Netflix or something, I am just all about the podcast. I've been watching podcasts nonstop since 2020. I
yeah,
love,
same here.
I
Yeah,
love,
I
I
love
just,
watching podcasts and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is why, and this is why I wanted to do a
Hmm.
podcast, is because I really, get a lot of value out of watching
Yeah,
podcasts. I like
Definitely, and you also get to pick each other's brain
yeah,
and tell your experiences, and if other
absolutely.
people
Mhm,
relate to your experiences, then
mhm,
they know that they're not crazy, or they know that, hey,
right?
this is real, this
A
is like I had the
hundred,
same thing happen to me. We're not
yeah,
alone. you know
100%. And I love the fact that we've got people in the chat who are also, relating
hmm
what we're talking about. And so,
hmm
like you said, they don't feel crazy because they've seen, a passed away
exactly.
pet in their bed or their living room or something. At least they're
hmm
like, hey, these people are talking about
yeah,
it. It's a real
yeah,
thing.
exactly. Yeah, it's real. I told you
It's
it's
a
real.
real
I
thing.
told you I saw that ghost dog. I told you I
There's,
saw this.
there's
I
other
told you
people
my
across
dog
the
sees
globe.
things.
Someone in
Yeah,
Bermuda is
yeah,
saying it's.
exactly.
It's like it's
Yeah,
so cool. That's why I love podcasts. I think they're the future of entertainment and
yeah,
everything,
absolutely.
because people are just getting so sick of the mainstream stuff and
Yeah.
the BS that we've been spoon fed basically throughout the
hmm
years with
Yep.
that television and all the television. Did you ever
Yeah,
know
exactly.
that?
Yep.
Where they're
They
you
tell you
start
what they want.
they're programming you what to think,
Exactly.
right?
Where that's why having a podcast with two like-minded people, or people that are in the same, field,
Yeah,
it's you get to it's more of a conversation that actually means something, because you get to talk about like-minded things, and you get to talk about how it is real, your experiences, what you've done, how long you've done it, who you've done it
right,
with, and things like that. So it's always nice to talk to like a fellow psychic and a fellow reader, because um like I said, I've always watched you from day one, and I've always wanted to do this with you and collab with you, but here we are, years later after
I
knowing
know.
each other. So
This
it's
the
finally it
time.
finally happened, and I'm so glad it did, because I can talk to you all the time, because
Oh,
you
absolutely.
you, you feel the same way I do. Is where our there's no competition. It's just a mission to help people. That's
Absolutely.
it. And that's all I really want. I don't care about if you do something better than me, or something more than me. We're
It's not
helping
even
people. We're
about that.
helping individuals. We're
It's
helping
not
people
even
that need
about
our
that.
help.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
about that. It's not about competition at all. I re
Absolutely.
I don't know if you're familiar because 'cause we're also YouTubers, and that adds a different element to
Yeah.
the whole thing. We're not just, psychics and stuff, but we
hmm
are also out there as public figures. But I don't know if you're familiar with the reader and astrologer, Marie Moore?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, so she was as aligned with Chris once upon a time back in.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
Okay. So Marie, awesome lady. I've always liked her. I've always supported her channel before I ever had one and so forth. So 2 years ago, I messaged her through Instagram and I said, Maria, I'd like to have a conversation with you. So she says, yeah, sure, no problem. She's never done a live on Instagram before, but I
hmm
mean, we weren't live to the public. We were just privately
Yeah,
live.
just talking amongst
So
yourself.
yeah, and then like you said before, with the up on top and
Yeah.
underneath.
Yeah.
So we were having a convo, and the first thing she said to me was, "Listen, Star, I'm not in competition with any of you people out there right
Yeah.
Marie,
hmm
this is not about that at all. First of all, I love you,
Exactly.
support your channel and everything.
hmm
I think you're an awesome person.
Yeah.
I just want to reach out to you because I had some questions. Are you comfortable answering that?" And she said, "Oh, absolutely." So we
hmm
just had a great conversation for about an hour, and we were talking privately.
hmm
But it was funny how her reaction right away was, "I'm not in
Right.
competition." It's like,
Yeah,
so I guess you
exactly.
must
Yeah.
have had experiences where
Right.
were attacking her, and she's like, "I'm not," and I totally understand. I'm not in competition with anybody else out there either. Just
Exactly. Yeah.
doing your thing, you're doing
Right.
your a lot of people are
Mhm.
just doing their thing. We are
Yeah.
not looking to compete
And
with anybody.
that's the joy of it, is like I've never wanted to like consider myself better than anybody else, because there's always someone better than you in anything. So, you're supposed to help, you're supposed to be the best to help the people that you're meant to help.
Yes. The
So I'm
only
gonna be my best for everyone that needs me. And that's
absolute
it.
and
So you're gonna be best for the people that need you.
the only competition I'm in is with myself. Like,
Exactly. I
can I
gotta make myself better.
yeah, can
Yeah.
I do better this month than I
Yeah.
did last month? That's the only person I'm interested in competing with is myself, right?
Exactly. And
And,
and that's what
I
I yeah.
do look at other channels. I look at other, tarot channels, but I'm also a
Mm.
YouTuber, so I'm looking at the podcasters and everything else. And I'm in awe of a lot of them, and I look at how their setup is. I like how they do
Mhm.
things, and I'm studying them and I'm learning from them.
Yeah,
I'm no way in any way competition with them, but I'm learning from them, and I've learned from everybody out there on YouTube that I've watched their channel, and that's
yeah,
all I hope to do, and I hope everybody feels the same way about me, that,
yeah.
just there to learn. I've had a couple of, tarot readers that started their channel because I
Mhm.
did do a few years back, I did a video about how to start a YouTube channel,
Yeah.
especially for tarot readers and stuff. And I had one YouTuber sent me an email and said, I just started my channel and everything. I have to tell you, you were my inspiration and blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah. So
Right.
she
Yeah.
started her channel and I went, of course,
Mhm.
I supported her channel. As soon as I found out she had one, I went and checked her
Mhm.
out. She's pretty good. I said, you're doing great,
Yeah.
girl. Keep going. And she ended up, so she's doing well on YouTube now.
Yeah.
So like that's what
Exactly.
I do.
Yeah.
I hope to inspire because
Yeah.
I'm inspired by others.
Exactly. And that's, as you know me, since you've known me, I've always help promote people. I'll be
Uh,
the first person to subscribe to your channel. I would mention you over and over when you
oh
come in
yeah,
my room. I would say, hey, look, I've never been that type of person to say, oh, I'm not going to shout them out because they're making more money than me, or they're better than me, or they're this or they're that. Like that never crosses my mind at all. The
there,
first thing that crosses my mind is I show my respect to everyone. Until you do something wrong to me, then I have nothing bad to say about you, and I'm going to help you regardless, because that's how I came into the scene, because everybody helped me. Everybody gave me the confidence.
uh,
Everybody allowed me to read them.
uh,
Everybody allowed me to show my skill, show my gift. So without them, I'm nothing. Without
right?
people, we're nobody, because who are we going to
Exactly.
read ourselves?
That's what
We
I'm saying.
can't, you know?
Without the viewers, without the audience, without the fans,
Right.
where are we, right?
I
We're just
need I need them to practice, I need
exactly.
I need them to prove that I'm not crazy, and I can read you, and I'm gonna see all
Right,
these things around you.
exactly,
So
right.
that's why, like, I always, I wish, and I'm gonna be careful what I'm wishing for, but I wish that more people would be like us, would be like, inviting people to talk together
Mhm,
without any animosity, or without any other competition, or any type of way, or think you're better than somebody else, and that's the joy of being with other like-minded psychics,
mhm,
that, hey, look, I'm just like you, Mark. Like, I'm all about helping everyone. I don't care about, all these things. And
mhm,
I've said that from the first day I've started my channel, that I'm not here for likes. I'm not here to be,
mhm,
to have a golden, medal in the background, and you're the best. That's fine. I'll be the best for whoever you want me to be.
right.
But
Mm,
you can praise me, you can talk about me. That's all fine. I respect the acknowledgement, the praise, and all that stuff. But it's never gonna get to my head. It never will get to
right.
my head,
Because you know what?
because it's not my mission to do that.
I
Yeah.
feel that you do what you love, and if you feel in your heart you're doing good for others,
Hmm.
the rest of it comes. Because
Yeah.
let's face it, at the end of the day, we all need to make a living. We all need to keep a roof over our head. We all need to
Right.
eat and
Yeah.
so forth. So if this is what do what you love, and then
Mhm.
I believe the Lord will provide.
Yeah,
And be
absolutely.
able to make sure that you have a roof over your head, you have the things that you need, the creature
Mhm.
comforts in life in
Yep.
order to survive. And
Yeah.
anything above that is a bonus, but don't ever let it go to your head because one day you can be on top and the next day you can be on the bottom. Don't ever get cocky.
Absolutely.
Don't get,
Nope.
over
Mhm.
because I've seen people fall from grace many times.
Oh, hell yeah. I mentioned that earlier in this live,
Yeah,
how a lot of people start off, you know, and they're all humble, and they're like, they're doing readings for people, and their
right.
channels like, so, and then all of a sudden they get all these subs, and they get shouted out by someone, and they're like, yeah, look at me. It's not you. If
Right.
without spirit, you're not gonna get those answers.
That's right.
Without God in your life, you're not going to succeed. It's not going to work. You're just going to keep
Because
going around in circles.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
then eventually, even if you do get that success, you will destroy yourself in the interim
Exactly. With the
because
greed and the
just
money
yeah,
and everything else.
it's
Yep.
exactly because it's not built on the right things.
No.
And this is the main thing I wanna get out to the audience, whomever is in the chat right now, and then whomever is gonna be watching because, in Europe, it's super late. I mean, I've had a lot of
Right.
my friends, message me and said, "Look, I can't be on the live tonight, but I will
Mm.
watch the
Right.
replay."
The replay.
And
Yeah.
and that's good. The main thing I think that we're both trying to get this message out to people is do the right thing, do what's in your heart, don't be hating on other people because there's
No.
no point, you're just killing your own energy,
Mhm.
you're hurting the energy of the universe, of the globe, of the world. So
Right.
don't do that because you could
Exactly.
take that precious energy and you could use it for something good. And this
Mhm.
is what Mark and myself have decided to do. We've taken our energy and we've used it to provide a service for other
Right.
people, bring them hope,
Exactly.
bring them peace, and so forth. That's what we are doing. So look at us. Don't think that we're doing anything evil here because we certainly are not. We're in the opposite direction of evil.
Exactly. Like Ninja just said, can't we all just get along?
Yeah.
Yes, we I wish we would, Ninja. I honestly wish that everybody can get along. That's my we know world peace is one of my greatest wishes, and especially as a psychic and a
Yeah.
medium, because people always think that it's a competition, or oh, I saw my client in her room, she betrayed me. We nobody belongs to you.
Exactly.
We all belong to each other. That's like saying, oh, I believe in God, but you can't because God belongs to me. You better go worship someone else. That's what you're saying. You
You
sound
see,
like an idiot by when you say that.
Mark, you're an Aquarius, and the Aquarian energy understands that innately. You guys
Hmm.
understand that nobody belongs to anybody. If
No.
anyone understands that concept, the Aquarian energy understands that. You you
Mhm.
belong to every because Aquarians are all about the globe. You're all about everybody. Let's look after everyone. The
Yep.
individual relationship matters, but only to a point as long as we're all taken care of.
Mhm.
You you have that Aquarian universal caring of the entire world, which is really good because we're going into the
Yep.
age of Aquarius,
Exactly.
Mark. So it's a perfect attitude to
Yeah.
have going
And
forward.
I think that's why all of this is happening to me, because it's like, I'm an Aquarius. I'm actually a double Aquarius. I'm sun and rising.
Oh,
So I'm going to get like double banked here with all these things. So,
yeah.
and with Pluto going in my sign, and also like in Chinese astrology, it's a dragon year, and I'm also the fire dragon. So
Oh, is that
I'm,
right?
I'm gonna, this year is probably going to be one of the craziest years of my life. I'm sure it will be, but every year is, different to me.
So you
But
are a dragon. It's funny because I put it, thank you for reminding me. I put in the back of my head earlier today, I'm going to ask anyone in the chat if they were born the year of the dragon. And
yeah,
you,
I am, yeah.
oh,
Hmm.
wow. Is anyone else here in the chat born in um, the dragon year? Because it's going to be an exceptional year for those born in the year of the dragon.
Yeah, so just imagine me. I'm a dragon, and
And a double
Pluto's going
part.
into Aquarius, and I'm double Aquarius. So it's like I'm like saying to myself, "Well, it's only the seventh, and nothing really crazy's happened. Thank God, I've survived the first 7 days."
Remember, the 20th is when it switches
Yeah,
over.
when it actually happens, you're right?
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be pretty wild, but
right,
it's interesting because you and I have talked about how you've reemerged back on your
hmm,
channel after a hiatus.
absolutely,
You
yeah,
came back out and you're out there, and
mhm,
I think it's by design. I don't think it's by accident
absolutely.
this has
No,
happened,
no,
right?
it's definitely and
Yeah.
and I also told everyone the other day that the reason why everybody's been seeing me more is it's because this last year in 2023 I had to be there for my family members. So I have my own business. I'm an electrician, and I have a maintenance business. So I do multiple things. I do anything to do with home maintenance, as you know, as most people know. And
If
that my
we're on
business,
Instagram, yes, we know that
yeah.
from your Instagram.
So my business took like my business wasn't that profitable, and it wasn't that busy, and it like it drew me, like it's almost like spirit said, look, you're not going to work hard in 2023, we're gonna provide you with a psychic year.
Oh,
You're
okay.
going to do readings. You're going to make money off of readings. You're going to, we need you to support your family. We need you to be there, and and everything that happened last year. It was like that was the first year that I actually didn't like bust my ass and work physically hard, and I worked mentally hard, and spiritually hard.
Yeah.
So I feel like it I feel like spirit put me here for a reason. Like they said, look, you need to start working hard, and you need to like give your other business a break because people need you in a spiritual form. You need to
Right.
like be more of a psychic, more of a medium. And last year was probably the most readings I've ever done in my life. Was
Is
in
that right?
2023. Yeah, it was probably the most readings I've ever done,
Yeah.
and it's probably the most times I've ever been live and for long periods of time.
Yeah.
So like from the very first time I did it, like I would took a like 2020, like during COVID, obviously like I was online here and there. But the last 2 years, like in 2021 and 2022, I wasn't really very active because of all the
No,
things that
not.
happened. And plus I was always working. Yeah.
You were mostly on Instagram here and there. You pop up on it.
Yeah,
Right.
and I would tell everybody, look, I can go live. Like I'm doing a big job right now. Like so, my business was like taking my life it away from here. So
Mhm.
in 2023, they were like, okay, well, you worked hard for the past umpteen years, especially the last 2 years. So now we're gonna put you in front of the world here because they need you. And I found that weird, but I also like it's amazing how like it all happened. Like, and now
Yeah.
I'm here. The first week of the year, I'm on your
Mhm.
podcast talking to you. But
Yeah.
I've known you for 5 years, and we've never collabed. So it's like it's so weird how everything's coming back into play, and now you're
Exactly.
going live now. You know,
Exactly. I haven't
it's
gone
just
live
like,
in quite some time. Plus, I've been wanting to start up the podcast for a couple of years now, but my
mhm,
life was like crazy. I was going through this
right.
transition. We moved twice since
Hmm.
I wanted to do all this, and then moves, and the last one was a
Right.
major move. So it's like I can't do that. I need to get settled, and I'm finally
Hmm.
settled. And it's
Right.
2024. You're back out there, and it's
Hmm.
just like all the signs were there. It's by design. Like I said,
Yeah.
this was the
Yep.
time to start.
This one is when it was gonna happen, but
Yeah.
that's the thing. We both had busy lives, so we both couldn't
Mhm.
be on our channels as much as we want to. But
Exactly.
now we are. So it's like everything is just a matter of time. It happens. So
Absolutely.
I'm embracing it. I'm loving it because honestly, I swore down that I would never do this full time, but
Mhm.
I'm constantly getting pushed to be on
Exactly.
my channel more. Like it's like God's like, yo, and you know what? Pluto transforms your life. So I'm like, this shit's already happening. Like, I'm give me 20 years now. Come on. And like, like I still joke with people and say, look, I really don't want to be in front of a phone and a camera all day doing
Right.
readings. People are gonna drive me nuts, and I'm like, well, people drive me nuts anyway, in my
Right.
life. So I'm like, well, maybe this is what Pluto's gonna do. It's going to allow me to stop working hard and work
Ex-
more mentally and spiritually, and this is going to be my life for the next 20 years.
I
And
love
why
what
not?
you said there.
Why not? I love it.
People are gonna drive me nuts anyway, so I might as
Yeah, exactly.
well.
So they're gonna drive me nuts anyway. So, in my business, they drive me nuts. Mark, I need you to fix this. Mark, I need you to
Yeah.
fix that. And then a hurricane happens, and oh, Mark, this fell, that. Can you please come here? And I'm
Oh,
like, and
dear.
it's just like reading. So, Mark, I need you. Are you coming live? Or
Yeah.
hey, I'm sending something now. I need you. I need you. I need you. I'm like, and then it's my
But you know
parents.
what? It's better
You
to,
know.
be needed than to be forgotten, right? That's the way I
Yeah. I'm not complaining by no means. It's really I wouldn't even say crazy. It's just amazing how life works. It's amazing how like the world like put you in and like God put you in the right place at the right time, or he, it
exactly.
like and like I told everybody this story, and I'll say it again for those of you who don't know. But when I've been a psychic for years, and I've done this forever, but I've only been on YouTube for 4 years, and right before COVID
Mhm.
in September of 2019, that's when I started my channel.
Mhm.
And it was pretty much preparing me because as an electrician and as the business that I do, I can't go to people's houses during COVID. I was on lockdown.
Exactly.
So what other way am I going to make money? Was online as a psychic.
True.
But God had already put me before the pandemic
Right?
happened,
He
6 months
he
before.
lined it up, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Spirit nudging me in that right direction because I was just reading for people,
Yeah.
in other rooms and like just reading for people like as a as a hobby,
Hmm.
not taking it serious. And then when my friends are like, Mark, please, for the love of God, just like, start your channel already. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start it today. I just went live and bang.
And
Then
you know what? I was so glad
it
that you
happened.
did, because when I first met you, you were a moderator in
Right.
and I remember thinking like you were hilarious. This guy's awesome. I found out you were doing a channel of your own. I was like, right there, sign me up. And I
Yeah.
go your chat back then too, as well as Ninja and a lot of the other people on
Yeah.
the chat
Right.
here.
It's good to have everybody that supported me from day
It was
one around.
great,
You know?
and we loved it, and it was just a laugh a minute. We had a really good time, and I thought it was a really good fit for you. Like you
Yeah.
were a great moderator, but it's like, hey, you got your own thing going on here, and
Right.
that's pretty awesome. And I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you did that, and then we became
Me
friends.
too.
And we're on the
Yeah.
same stuff like that.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I still believe that there's more good people out there in this world than there is
Absolutely. Yeah.
bad people. So even here on YouTube, there's a lot of people who feel like we do. And I hope
Hmm.
going forward, both of us are going to be able to get, podcasts going with other guests and other like-minded people. But in the
Absolutely.
meantime, like Mark, I appreciate so much you coming on the
Hmm.
channel. Um,
Absolutely.
we have been going for almost 2 hours now. I will be needing to let you go, but before
Okay.
we go, I
Mhm.
want to know, do you have any predictions as a medium for 2024? What are your predictions? The spirit telling you anything in particular, anything special?
I honestly, I feel it's going to be a better year energy wise, and I
Oh,
also feel like the truth will be revealed more to us. Like we're gonna, because Aquarius is a sign that because we're going into where we're in the age of Aquarius,
yeah,
and Aquarius, Pluto is going into Aquarius, and my whole thing and what Spirit tells me is now is your time. Now is the time where you're going to have to change
mm,
because this is what your next phase of life is. Because as we go to 10, 15-year cycles, we're not the same person we were 10 years ago, right?
that, yeah,
So as I've gotten older, I realize that every year is different, and I believe that this year is the year where we can do whatever we put our minds to, because all the resources are going to be there.
yeah.
And if we and our I feel like everybody, what Spirit says to me, if you believe, you'll receive. So if you live and die by that, 2024 would be one of the best years of your life, no matter what sign you are or where you are or how you are.
So
But
you feel 2024 is going to be the year of truth, where truth
yes,
is going to be told, truth is going to be
absolutely.
believed, and that's what you feel, hey?
I feel that the truth
I
was
feel that.
going to be told to a lot of people. Like people are finally going to, not only the truth will be revealed, is people are going to actually see, hear, and feel the truth, and actually be like they're not going to even be mad that they were lied to. I think that people are going to be like, you know what, I knew this all along.
Yeah,
But I think people are going to have a big awakening where they're going to say, you know what,
great.
um, I'm so sick and tired of everyone that says no, no, no. I'm going to say yes, yes, yes. And I
Yeah,
feel like this year people are actually going to get off their asses and
yeah.
do something with their lives because of what we've been through with the pandemic in the past 3 years.
Mhm.
And
So
I don't want to elaborate on that, but the things that we had to do during that pandemic, people actually realize what life is like
true that.
when you're home and you're shut down like a jail, you know?
Do you firmly believe that 2024, the best is yet to come still? We
Absolutely. I think it's the beginning of majority of people's lives that they want to get better. If you want your life to be better, this is the year where you can make it happen. This is the
love
year
it.
where it should happen. This is the
I
year
love I love
and
it.
it's
Yeah.
and 2 and 20, and I'm a number person. So 20 and 24 is 44, 4 and 4 is 8. So what does 8 do? It
Mm,
goes around and around and around. It doesn't
yeah,
stop. So you're
this
going to be nonstop.
the infinity
The
symbol.
infinity, yeah. And you're going to go nonstop this year. Everything that you want can happen. So if
Beautiful.
you,
Love it.
so if you want to, it will happen. I just think these last couple years have shown us that, you know what? Like I just said, the past few years you had to do something else with your life. So if you were a person like me who had to go to people's houses,
Mhm.
or you had to go to work but you couldn't go to work because of the
Because
pandemic and you had to get locked down and you couldn't work online on your
mhm,
computer, if you wasn't one of those people, you had to find one of your old talents, or you had to find
mhm.
another way to make money,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
So we've all been transformed for the past 3 years of what life is, could, should, and would be.
It's
So
true.
now this year, you're already you. So now that you know and you've got the experience from the past 3 years, you're already going through the transformation. So
Exactly.
now this year should be easier
That's
because
true. A
you.
lot of people were forced to work from home and those kinds of things
Hmm.
now, and
Yeah,
jobs online as opposed to physical jobs and things like that. So, yeah,
yeah,
you make a great point. And you know what, my friend, I've really enjoyed this conversation. And how about
absolutely,
I'm going to propose this because it's going to be a regular podcast. How about you come back again soon?
absolutely. Anytime,
And maybe we'll make this a regular thing because I really enjoyed this
sure.
podcast with you a lot, immensely. Before we go, do you want to let the audience know where they can find you in terms of
Yeah,
YouTube and everybody else? Just let them know where they
sure.
can.
I have my own channel. It's called MarkyMark's Tarot, and it's you can find me. I'm very easy to find. I don't have much traffic. I don't really I don't want to be too popular or anything like that because that's a nuisance, and that's a and but I am someone who you can trust. I am someone you can ask questions to generally, and I give free messages in my chat every day. I come online pretty much almost every day, every night. Around this time, I'm on live pretty much. I'm on Instagram as well. You can email me at markymarksterra@gmail.com to ask me. All my information is on my channel.
Mhm.
Um, what I do and how I do it. You're more than welcome to come by my channel and talk to me. I'm open to everything. Um, I feel like I can help everyone in some way, or I can guide you to someone that will help you. So either way, you're gonna get helped. So that's my mission. That's my drive is to help everyone, and maybe you'll be able to help me. So who knows?
Love that.
That's we all should be helping everyone else anyway. But
100%. What goes around comes around, and keep the energy flowing in a positive
I
way.
I really enjoyed this. I uh I knew it was gonna be a great conversation. I knew it was about to happen one day.
Mhm.
And here we are 5 years later. We always joke around that we've known each other for a while, and a lot of people sometimes say, you should. Ninja always says, you and Stars got to get together. You guys have known each other forever, and here we are. And
Yeah.
it's the perfect time. It's a new year.
Mhm.
We've what we've said on here is the truth. What we said on here is, you
It's real.
know, it's
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 real.
real,
Mhm.
and whether you go to me or to Star, you'll get the truth and you'll get what you need, and that's how it should be. And if we can give you what you need, we know somebody that will. And
100%.
and on a final note, you can't blame your life. You have to blame the way you live it. So if you change, you'll get what you want. Don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid to address spirit. Don't be afraid to address God. Don't be afraid to change your life for you. Don't change for someone else, just change for you. Make sure your life is better. Make sure what you do is for the right reasons and take care of yourself. That's it. And you'll be fine. And 2024 will be your year.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thanks so much, and I look
You're
forward to
welcome.
us getting together again on this podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, my friend. Take
No
care. We'll
problem.
see you soon. Okay?
Yeah, I'm actually going to go live in a few minutes. I'm going to take a
Are
break and
you
I'll be live on my channel for a
nice?
while. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
It's I'm the night owl, so I'm going to come back every
Exactly.
little while.
He is a
I,
night
I I
owl.
can never get enough.
So when we're done here, all of you who want to follow Mark over to his Marky
Mhm.
Mark's channel, go ahead And until the next time, my friend, keep well, okay?
You too. Thanks, everybody in the chat. I appreciate your love and kindness. And please subscribe to both of us and come
Mhm,
check us out. We will definitely help you. And I appreciate everybody from my channel coming over here and subbing to Star and
mhm,
also sub to my friend Tony here, our
mhm.
friend Tony,
Yeah,
our
hungry
buddy
now.
and
He's
pal.
chat here.
Hungry now. He cooks food and stuff. So
Oh yeah, wonderful
and
recipes for I'm hungry now.
absolute wonderful recipes. Tony, thanks a lot for being here, bro, and helping us out. We love
Yeah,
you.
he's the producer and
Yeah,
engineer
he's
for
the producer.
the program. So yeah, thanks
Yeah,
so much, Mark. Well, you take good care of yourself. And how's the
absolutely.
weather in Bermuda right now? Before we go.
Today it was 72 and it was very humid, but it was cloudy and windy today. But
Uh,
we've had pretty good weather, not that bad.
okay, that's cool.
And maybe one day you'll be able to come on your second honeymoon to Bermuda.
I would love to. Yeah, you mentioned before about us all getting together for a nice big meal, lobster.
Absolutely. I would
Yes,
love that.
looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right, my friend. Will you take it easy? Much love,
All
and
right.
thanks again for coming on tonight.
See you, Mike.
Bye bye. Yeah, bye,
Yeah.
Mike. Bye bye.
But
Yeah, he's gone. So, oh wow, this was an amazing get together, and I see that there's all kinds of people. What's wrong? End live stream? No, are you ending it? But I'm still live. I'm still live. It's just Marky took off, but I'm still live. You're trying to cut me off the live stream. Wow. No, I'm still here. I just want to talk to all of you to wish you a very good evening. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. It's going to become a regular thing. Mark was one of the guests, but we're going to have more guests going forward, hopefully. But I mean, sometimes the podcast is just going to be me, little old me. We're going to be talking about all kinds of cool stuff tonight. We were discussing mediumship, and who knows? I haven't decided what the subject matter will be next Sunday, but hopefully we can reconvene here again next Sunday um, live. Good night, everybody. Mwah! Thank you so much for joining me. Much love. Good night, Ninja. Thanks so much for your assistance here. And of course, I'm hungry now. You're amazing. All of you are amazing. Love y'all. Bye bye. Good night.